let's see. Marks and traits of the cult guru. They do not typically like you doing well. What?
They are persecuting me. They do not have spiritual eyes to see. Therefore, they must take down what they do not understand.
That's that booger whistle, baby. They're energy vampires. That's that booger whistle, baby. I got a booger whistle flute. They're energy vampires. That's that booger whistle, baby. Oftentimes, the communal living that the guru demands doesn't match up to the guru who's driving around in a freaking Rolls Royce. What? How many swamis got a dang Rolls Royce? What?
I had vision last night. The ascended masters came down to me. They says, Swami, you are to get Rolls Royce.
That's that booger whistle, baby. They're energy vampires. That's that booger whistle, baby. I got a booger whistle flute. They're energy vampires. That's that booger whistle, baby. How many Rolls Royces you got? Get over there in that communal living. By the way, get out of my Rolls Royce. I heard he's got 14 Rolls Royces. And by Monday, he would have 15. That's that booger whistle, baby. They're energy vampires. That's that booger whistle, baby. I got a booger whistle flute. They're energy vampires. That's that booger whistle, baby.
Jamie! Could you make me an espresso? Okay, we're gonna open it up. Let's keep it on topic. 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. Icons are idolatry. J, but J, can I talk? But it was an ex-cathedra. If God is real, why does he allow evil? Why do you pray to dead people? Traditions of men, it's a no-brainer. You're such a tyrannical reigner. Is this your first time on the interwebs? Jamie! I need a ginger chew. Can't take it, these low-tier slow boys. Is this your first time on the interwebs? Jamie! I need a ginger chew. Was that an uncreated foot fart? Unmute, dude. Stop repeating my name, dude. You goobers call in, or I'll boot you. Where did we get the Bible from? Have you read the canons of Franzia? What are you, Catholic? Are you Protestant? I'm not trying to be mean, but do you have an actual argument? There is only one church. You are in a cult. You're a goblin, a demon, a boomer tard. Quick question. Do we have any diddy-back venerators in the chat? Oh! Is this your first time on the interwebs? Jamie! I need a ginger chew. Can't take it, these low-tier slow boys. Is this your first time on the interwebs? Jamie! I need a ginger chew. If you're a wine mom, front of the line. Unmute, dude. What is your epistemic justification? That argument is circular and you are refuted. Is this your first time on the interwebs? Jamie! I need a ginger chew. Can't take it, these low-tier slow boys. Is this your first time on the interwebs? Jamie! I need a ginger chew. If you're a wine mom, front of the line. Unmute, dude.
I will grease you up. Very good. You have a very plump booty. Oh, Voice of Reason's got a point. You have a very plump booty. I will grease you up. Very good. You have a very plump booty. Oh, Voice of Reason's got a point. You have a very plump booty. I will grease you up. Very good. You have a very plump booty. Well, once the reason's got a point. You have a very plump booty.
But I mean, like, what does it take for y'all to see through these people? I don't even understand it. Like, what's the point of even talking about it? I could have told you that dude was a goober tard, a goblin, a demon, and a goober tard.
The Council of Ephesus did not say that you cannot text a girl with a very plump booty. I will grease you up. Very good. You have a very plump booty. Well, once the reason's got a point. You have a very plump booty. I will grease you up. Very good. You have a very plump booty. Well, once the reason's got a point. You have a very plump booty.
I don't even want to spend any time in the loser sphere.
I was texting with the plump booties. Could I send you some more texts?
I already told you it was a goober tard.
I can't believe that the losers were acting like the losers that they are. What? Losers were acting like losers? I will grease you up. Very good. You have a very plump booty. Well, once the reason's got a point. You have a very plump booty. I will grease you up. Very good. You have a very plump booty. Well, once the reason's got a point. You have a very plump booty. The Council of Ephesus made an error when it said that you can't talk about plump booties. I would like a plump booty on my face. This is for some reason.
You are in a cult. You are not in a church. You invented your own church.
Excuse me, you're just making an assumption that all the saints agree.
They do. They do. I can go read them. You have no saints. You're a goblin, a demon, a boomer tard. A demon, a boomer
You're
tard.
just making an assumption.
You're a goblin, a demon, a boomer tard.
Excuse me.
A demon, a boomer tard. You're a goblin, a demon, a boomer tard. Have no saints. A demon, a boomer tard.
Excuse me.
A demon, a boomer tard. A demon, a boomer
You're just making an
tard.
assumption. Are all the councils inspired and inerrant?
The ecumenical synods, yes.
So all the ecumenical synods are inspired and inerrant.
Correct.
How do you know?
Because the Holy Spirit leads us to know the truth.
How do you know the Holy Spirit leads you to know the truth?
Because they're in accord with all the other ecumenical doctrines, all the other testimonies of the saints and the scriptures.
You're just making an assumption.
You're a goblin, a demon, a boomer tard. A demon, a boomer tard.
You're just making an assumption.
You're a goblin, a demon, a boomer tard.
Excuse me.
A demon, a boomer tard. You're a goblin, a demon, a boomer tard. Have no saints. A demon, a boomer tard.
Excuse me.
A demon, a boomer tard. A demon, a boomer tard.
You're just making an assumption.
You're a goblin, a demon, a boomer tard. A demon, a boomer tard.
Excuse me.
A demon, a boomer tard. A demon, a boomer tard. Have no saints. You're a goblin, a demon, a boomer tard.
Excuse me.
A demon, a boomer tard. You're a goblin, a demon, a boomer tard.
You're just making an assumption.
A demon, a boomer tard.
Oh, yeah, it's that time again. Welcome, everybody. What's up? Open forum. Today, you can talk about whatever topics you'd like to discuss, as long as they're within the domains of what's not going to get us banded. And I do want to comment briefly on the fact that one of the things that was missing today, or is being missed by most people, is once again false dialectics. And because America doesn't have any solid, real conservative movement, it is constantly susceptible to dialectical manipulation. So particularly I'm talking about the false divide between you're either a Christian Zionist or you support Islam. Of course, we've done multiple debates against most of the top Muslims, the Muslim apologists. We don't really have any that will debate anymore. They're pretty much done. Muhammad Hijab, Ali Dawah, these are the last couple. I don't know if they'll ever accept the debate. But the point being, this is a false choice. America doesn't have to choose between John Hagee and Daniel Hakikachu.
Okay. Both of these people are goblins. Both of these people are phonies. Both of them are false religions. And the only way to have a conservative movement or a real traditional movement ever, and I don't mean that the religion is primarily political, but I'm still saying that even though politics is tertiary, secondary, tertiary, whatever, to even have that, you got to have some kind of grounded, solid worldview, something that gives an account for reality, something that makes sense of right and wrong, something that gives you a justification for knowledge claims, a worldview. And to have a worldview or to have a paradigm requires more than politics, more than yapping on the internet, more than the political solutions that the talking heads offer. So while I definitely agreed with Tucker more than Ben Shapiro in that discussion, I do want to point out that Tucker is incorrect when he underestimates the problem and the threat of Islam. Islam, as we have said, and as many rabbis say, is the broom of Judaism. It is the cleanser, so to speak, that prepares the way for the dominance of Talmudic ideology. And the Talmud is the basis also of a lot of Islamic theology, history, and the Quran. Even though Muslims are ignorant of this and they deny it, they lie about it, this has been shown in multiple scholarly texts that there's a significant reliance upon Talmudic traditions for the rise of early Islam and its traditions. And I want to give a shout out to Nick at Fearless Truth. He joined me with God Logic, and we did some pretty significant, substantial debates with Muslims maybe a few months ago, a year ago. Those got a lot of views on YouTube, and Nick has been doing really good over at Fearless Truth. We're going to bring him on eventually when I get more freed up, when I get more free time. And we're going to discuss all this stuff. Of course, he's still out there wrangling with the remaining remnants of the Dawa groups that are out there. But they seem to be at least losing the online battle. And that's good because now they've just gone mask off. As you saw, Daniel Hakikachu in the debate with Andrew Wilson said, yeah, I don't care about any of that anymore. Fine, we're just going to come in with scimitars and we're going to conquer you with our 80 IQ armies. So they're mask off. And I don't have to choose between Zio masters or Sheikh masters. Like, it's amazing to me that people are falling into such a stupid low-tier dialectic. Like, does nobody even consider the possibility of an Orthodox Christian voice or option here? And even outside of Orthodox Christianity, like, hardly any of the pop apologists have a coherent answer. In fact, most of the pop apologists, whether Catholic or Orthodox, and even Protestant, had zero discernment and zero sense about any of the big, scandalous political, geopolitical subterfuges and subversions and psyops that we all went through in the last 5 years. So if they had zero discernment about any of that, and people like Trent Horn were pushing all the normie narratives, exactly what Ben Shapiro pushed, why would I believe they have discernment in spiritual higher matters? If you're not competent in basic discernment matters of this world, why would I think you have this great spiritual insight? It doesn't make any sense. And I'm not off base when I make that assessment because everybody knows many elders and many saints, many clairvoyants in the Orthodox Church also happen to know quite a bit about geopolitics. So there is a connection there. It's not outlandish to expect that the clergy should have more discernment, the pop apologists should have more discernment than the average person or the normies. But what we actually saw was a great divide, the big sifting of wheat from chaff, the winnowing fan separating the phonies and the people who take it seriously. And that was amongst both the clergy and the laity, and also in the other spheres. So not just in Orthodoxy, we also saw the same divide in the world of Rome, in the world of Protestantism, etc. So the real issue is that political solutions don't ultimately work. And because
the American so-called right wing, the neocons, all the phony conservatives, because they always sought for some sort of political solution, they were always then at the behest of money. And being at the behest of money, they were always on the defensive because there was always more globalist, socialist, limousine liberal money going into the culture war and going into politics, unfortunately, than real conservatism. So it's been on the defensive, it's been backpedaling, and it's constantly having to cede ground and constantly, oh, let's have a big tent, let's bring in all the chicks with peepees, and then we'll be real conservatives with a big tent, just gayer and gayer and gayer, which is really just becoming what the libs were 20 years ago. Why? Why is it always this way? That the so-called right, the so-called conservatives end up on the defensive and losing ground. Well, the reality is that, as we said, there's no real theological grounding to the phony conservatism. And so it's now rife with grifters. And I know the term grifter is overused, but it's accurate because now so-called conservatism, so-called right-wing stuff is just all basically propaganda, as bad as it was under mainstream media. During the era of mainstream media, it was, the big outlets, ABC, CBS, NBC, etc., pushing just straight up Democratic Party line. Now, the approved alternative media outlets, the ones that were hardcore Ziocon, everybody's mask off now. So it's actually a service, I think, that what's happened with the right wing in the last few years, post-COOF. It's a great service to all of us that everyone is now mask off. And isn't it ironic that Doug Wilson, who helped tons and tons and tons of evangelicals leave dispensationalism? In fact, I had somebody message me today about this, how ironic it was that Doug Wilson helped them leave dispensationalism. And now Doug Wilson is a Zio cuck. Like, what dimension is this? Well, why would it be surprising that Doug Wilson would cave to something like that when Doug Wilson literally created his own fake denomination, like a corporate franchise, just like Subway, just like the Calvary Chapel is a corporate church franchise. Well, Doug Wilson figured out, hey, I could do the same thing. And on the last live stream, we also mentioned that I had talked to some people who had a theory and analysis that a lot of celebrities have started to figure this out. In fact, there was a guy that messaged me today and said, I've actually noticed several sports stars figured out that they could start their own churches and be tax exempt. And this was, of course, the same model that other people have noticed with, like, reportedly, allegedly, the Kardashians perhaps doing this in the past. So people are starting to figure out that, hey, wait a minute, churches are a great grift. I can be tax-free. Everything can be put under the ministry. And we can all be Kenneth Copeland's with building oil wells out back behind the church. Now, I'm not saying that churches shouldn't make money or be successful or what. That's not the point. The point is that these aren't churches. To be a church requires some of the key constituent elements of a church, namely apostolic tradition, namely the apostolic faith, these kinds of basic essential components. Okay. It's not pastors with props from Instagram, right? It's not, let's see, here's a great one right here. Let's check this one out. Watch this. What the heck is this? Prestonwood Baptist Church in Dallas. Watch this. No, that's not, Nero concert. That's not, DJ Tiesto in 2005. This is not a rave, believe it or not. This is Little Drummer Boy at Prestonwood Baptist Church. Gay evangelical singers. Pum 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 on my rump, rump rump rump, hump on my rump. That's the gay evangelical song. That was pretty dudes flying. There's dudes levitating. Suddenly it turned into Pink Floyd. Well, I'm starting to feel comfortably numb from Prestonwood Baptist Church. Dude was like, come, they told me, pump on my rump. I mean, I'm not being blasphemous because they're gay as heck, dude. So give me a break, man. Come on. Gay evangelicals. Hurry up, Lucretia. Let's get started. We done started. Eugene, $20 says, run it. Okay. 89 guy, $5. Are you going on 3 of 7 podcasts with Chad? Right. I messaged him multiple times and he's not responded. So he responded to the first message that he'd like to set it up, and it was right at Thanksgiving and the timing wasn't good. And I messaged him to do it again and he has not replied. I sent him a second message and he still didn't reply. So maybe he checked out the content, decided he doesn't want me on. I don't know. Jarakis, $5. I caught you, just caught on to all of your stuff last week. I'm relearning a lot of what I thought, and not just Orthodox stuff. You tie everything together in a very logical way. Thank you. Well, thank you. That's definitely what we tried to do here. We strive to always be precise. We strive to have sources. If I'm speculating, I tell you guys I'm speculating. If I'm reading from global elite books like Burton Hirsch's text, The Old Boys, that we're lecturing through right now, he's a Council on Foreign Relations historian, then I'm straight up telling you, no, that's a global elite text. That's not a conspiracy theory. You know, if I talk about Dave McGowan's works, that's more of a conspiracy theory, right? But most of the stuff that we cover on my channel is really just looking at real, confirmed, verifiable information. I don't get into some rando dude that claimed to be a black ops guy whose wife busted his thumbs and imprisoned him in the garage, and now he's a whistleblower that 12 colonels, he stumbled upon 12 colonels at Fort Huachuca planning the Erica Kirk thing. That's all just obviously nonsense. But look, people don't have discernment. It's not my fault. And that includes clergy. Journey of Abundance, $10. Father Ivanov is debating a Church of Christ dude. His name's Aaron Gallagher next Monday. Many Campbellites are converting to Orthodoxy lately due to the damage control so this debate. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that that was happening. Comfortably rump. Y'all like that song? Y'all getting into that? I mean, the Protestant world is just something else, man. And thanks to Jim Jatras, he corrected me on my misunderstanding of what Dung Wilson was saying. Turns out what he actually appears to be saying is maybe Israel was justified in sinking the USS Liberty because they might have believed that the Americans were giving intelligence to the Egyptians. Now, how ridiculous is that? Now, I also found, by the way, Alex's old clip. Check this out. Come, they told me, rah, 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 rah. Check this out. This is Alex maybe 20 years ago or more. Think about how ahead of the curve and how spot on Alex was like 20 years ago. I remember watching this documentary, by the way, when it came out.
1960.
I'm not going to play this whole thing necessarily because I don't know what I can get away with, but I will. It is still on YouTube, so I'll put this in the chat for you guys to watch the whole clip. Check this out.
He's the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Ella Lemonser, concocted a plan for false flag operations as a
Now, if you don't know, Lemnitzer is the one that signed off on Northwoods, and Northwoods was proposed to JFK, but they didn't use it at that time. They were going to blame something on Cuba. It's a real document. Northwoods is very real, and it includes, flying planes into things.
Text to invade Cuba and for war with the Soviet Union.
But it also includes, I forgot this, the sinking of things.
In Operation Northwoods, they planned to hijack jets by remote control, crash them, and blame the attack on Cuba. There were many other terrorist attacks they planned to carry out that were contained within the document. One scenario mentioned was the destruction of a U.S. naval vessel that was to be blamed on a foreign power as a pretext for war with any enemy they picked. President Lyndon Baines Johnson went operational with Northwoods on June 8.
And the source for Lyndon Baines Johnson saying, I want that GD ship to the on the bottom of the ocean tonight or today or whatever, is actually Admiral Guys or Grise. I'll show you that article in a second.
1967, during the Six-Day War.
And by the way, Alex interviewed most of the surviving people back 20 years ago. And I watched all this stuff 20 years ago from Alex. So I know that's true. I remember all this. Surprised I even found this clip because it's a 12-year-old clip with only 1,000 views that you can't even, I don't even think it comes up if you search it. But
during the Six-Day War between Israel and the Arab nations, the USS Liberty was sent by Johnson to collect electronic intelligence in the eastern Mediterranean. The clearly marked U.S. intelligence ship was 14 miles off the coast of Israel in international waters.
A short time after the air attack had been completed, the 3 torpedo boats approached us from our starboard quarter at high speed and in an apparent torpedo launch attitude.
Israeli surveillance aircraft flew low over the ship and clearly identified it as an American vessel. At 2 p.m. that afternoon, the USS Liberty was attacked by 3 Mirage 3 fighter bombers. From the onset of the attack, the fighter bombers were jamming U.S. signals. Not only were they jamming U.S. signals specifically, they were also unmarked, the only unmarked aircraft in Israel's arsenal.
And so this went on for
Jay's
8
analysis. This is Jay.
hours, which doesn't sound like, oh, sorry, oops, it was just an accident, oops. Hold on. I'm trying to pull up the article that sources Admiral Guys. Give me just a second here. Because people were asking for this source yesterday. It's even in mainstream news. Here we go. New Hampshire Union leader is a mainstream news article on it right here. In the attack, McGonigal was able to dodge 4 torpedoes before the 5th hit the Liberty midship, sinking a hole, ripping a hole in the side. The impact destroyed his eardrums. When Guys challenged the second recall, Lyndon Baines Johnson came on the phone. The admiral said to Lewis, who remembered Guys quoting the president saying, I don't give a damn if that ship sinks and all the Americans are killed. I will not embarrass our allies. So there's that.
The fighter bombers strafed the ships with their cannons, dropped conventional munitions and napalm on the ship, repeatedly from stem to stern. After the Mirages had done their work, the ship was hit by medium bomber Dassault missiles carrying napalm and other munitions like white phosphorus. The USS Liberty was then attacked by 3 Israeli torpedo boats bearing Israeli flags. The torpedo gunboats opened fire with high-caliber machine guns and launched torpedoes. A single torpedo struck the ship, blowing a hole in both sides, entering the ship and leaving a 30-foot exit hole when it exploded. Then the torpedo boats began strafing life rafts in the water.
Anyway, you can watch the rest of this clip. I don't know how much I can do on YouTube there. So that's what's amazing is that Doug Wilson's actual comment appears to be even worse than what I thought it was. So, by the way, stay frosty because the Protestant churches are also doing a AC/DC songs. Are they doing cringecore now? The evangelicals have caught on to cringecore, and they're singing these horrible songs. He's singing Frosty the Snowman set to AC/DC's Thunderstruck. It's just so crazy that evangelical megachurches have just turned into, I mean, they're just like the most insane, just straight up, just comedy, dude. They're like, it's like satire come alive as a church, and people believe that this is what religion is. It's hard to believe that people think, I mean, what's more American though than starting your own religion, right? When's he going to do balls to the wall? Well, he's not going to do balls to the wall in an evangelical church because there are no balls in the event. They're all emasculated. There's no testicles at all in the evangelical world. So I don't expect him to do balls to the wall from AC/DC in the evangelical church anytime soon. Let's see. Oh, and also remember, everybody should check out the second episode of the Sam Hyde Show that I'm very proud of. First one got like 25 million views everywhere total. The second one didn't get as many, but I mean, it's still in the millions. And you know what? F Vivek. That dude is just a piece of garbage, dude. And a lot of people think that the Sam Hyde Show with millions of views helped end Vivek's political career. So everyone is mask off. That's the crazy part. Like, everybody's just totally going mask off. Vivek's like, I'm more American than all of you stupid honkies. Everything is mask off. Okay, let's just let's mask off. Here's another mega church here. What's going on here? That's the Rum Pump clip. Okay. All right. Who's up? Venus. What's up, man? It's open forum. If you want to call in, you can call in on any topic that's within the bounds of reason, and I'd be happy to answer your questions. What's up?
All right. So, I come from a background of occultism and like that type of spiritual magic stuff. I've been trying to get into orthodoxy. What are some problems I would probably have that I need to get rid of?
Well, you need to get rid of your occult magic stuff, like in the Book of Acts. Burn all that stuff.
Okay.
And then then just go to church and then start participating in the liturgy, and you'll be doing good. But I appreciate that call. I am Juster. What's up?
Hello.
No, I didn't say you, man. I said I am. What's up? We'll go to you in a minute.
Hey, can you hear me?
No, I am. What's up? You first, and then you other guys.
My bad.
This is why I need to just bring it one person at a time. Go ahead, Bob, and then we'll go to Wario. Go ahead, Bob.
So a couple of things. I come from a Protestant background, and I just got married to my wife like 3 months ago. Kind of found orthodoxy in the last year or so.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you've kind of talked about like talking theology doesn't really convince women. So what would you say is the best course of action?
Take her to the church and get her involved in the community and to meet people, and make her watch the Icon documentary. That's the best route. Wario, what's up, man?
Hey, sorry about that.
It's okay.
Yeah, I was talking to some people at my parish after the last time I was on. We were talking about like evolution, age of the earth, some of these kinds of things. And we got to talk, and I read a little bit more of Father Seraphim's, tome on the subject. And I wanted to see if you agree or disagree with like some of the statements he was making, or like the sort of general picture that I'm kind of putting together about this. Yeah. So he was talking about with the 6 days of creation, he actually doesn't give like a time for each of the days. He's not like very dogmatic on that. And he makes the point that it's like,
what do you mean a time for the days? It's obviously it's 24-hour days. That's why we have the Sabbath.
He doesn't. I don't recall him making that point, especially in the Q&As. That's what the big section I was reading. He punts the question. He says we're not really going to discuss the.
He argues for 6 day creation. I can tell you that.
6 day, yes, 6 day. But
a day is 24 hours. What else would a day be?
Well, I'm just saying this is just going by what I read in his work. He didn't address.
Okay, you didn't read that whole book from the time that you called in here to now. So what are you talking about?
No, it was the Q&A section, and then the.
He agrees with Basil's view in his 6 day creation.
So he would.
A day is 24 hours, not day age theory.
Okay.
There's no patristic. There are no church fathers that deny 24-hour 6 day creation, except for St. Augustine, who teaches instantaneous creation, which no evolutionist holds. So he's not a benefit for them.
Yep.
Okay. So
yeah, it's not super relevant to like what we were talking about. I found that interesting that he wasn't he's sort of like in the.
Okay. Well, in other places he does.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll take your word for it. But he posits that it's like this kind of discontinuous period where there's no way to sort of even access what's going on during the 6 days, like from our position, other than divine revelation. So like the creation is taking place, and he said like all the waters are drawn together, and that's so like not even like the physical laws are applying like at these times.
Yeah, because it's before the fall. Yeah, that's true.
So,
but that doesn't mean that it's not 6 days. I mean.
Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing at all.
You're not going to get evolution and aeons out of Father Seraphim Rose, dude. I guarantee you that.
Sorry?
You're not going to get aeons of time out of Father Seraphim Rose. He's like the number one opponent of that position.
No, I'm agreeing with that part. But it seems like he introduces like this discontinuity between the two, like between the post-fall and even the antediluvian world, and then
there's a metaphysical change in reality. Like the animals begin to have predatory practices. They were not predatory prior to the fall because there was no death. He talks about mosquitoes, wouldn't be sapping your blood before the fall, et cetera, et cetera. But that has nothing to do with day age theory. He doesn't teach day age theory.
He specifically refused that in the section. Like you can't sneak in a bunch of time into the 6 days was the point that he was making. But he didn't put the. I was just commenting that I hadn't read that he.
He does teach 6 day creation, and it's 24-hour. It's 6 days. What's up, man? People just love evolutionary theory. It's like it's a faith commitment for so many people. And it's such a silly. Dust, what's up? I'm mute.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey, I've been in a small non-traditional church for about the last decade, and I'm trying to open my mind to new ideas. And so if I were to add any reading to the before or end of the Bible, what would be some good things? Like I've heard of the Book of Enoch, stuff like this. What could I read and avoid any chicanery?
No, I mean, it's not, you don't need to read the Book of Enoch. That has nothing to do with coming out of like evangelicalism. I would read stuff like On the Incarnation by St. Athanasius. I would read On Christian Doctrine by St. Augustine. I would read the Post-Apostolic Fathers. I mean, those are going to give you a better reality view of church history than weird speculative things like the Book of Enoch. I mean, I'm not saying I disagree with it, but it's not what you need to read. Bork, what's up, man? I'm you.
Hey, I just wanted to see if you thought this was a fair argument. It's kind of like what you talk about with Protestants and their Nestorian ecclesiology.
Are you there? Well, I wanted to hear your comment, but you died, dude. I can't hear you. F. Stein McJeffrey, what's up? F. Stein McJeffrey, what's up?
AJ, I'd like to ask you about Stanley Kubrick.
Okay.
So,
by the way, I just had an hour-long conversation with Vivian the other day.
Oh, okay. Do you not want to talk about it then?
Why would I mean, I'm just saying, like, I've finally had a...
If you're, like, bored of...
No, I said I had an hour-long conversation with Vivian Kubrick the other day.
Oh, wow.
That's his daughter.
Oh, sorry, you had cut out. I didn't hear you. That's insane. How'd that go?
Great. We had a good conversation. So she's eventually going to come on here.
That's very cool. No, I know it's kind of a big open-ended question, but I'm just curious what your assessment is of him as an individual, like what his beliefs were, because I know he was an atheist or something of an atheist, but he touches on so many themes of occultism and transhumanism, and his movies aren't like explicit condemnations of these topics, but they aren't promoting them necessarily, like at all, really.
Vivian said that he was an atheist, but that he had this penchant for the esoteric. That's pretty much what she said.
Well, so what I'm trying to understand is what his temperament was, what his beliefs were in relation to these things, because he's very enigmatic of a figure, especially for Hollywood. So I'm just curious what your assessment is of him.
I mean, I would say that I don't think she's lying. I think she's telling the truth. I think that probably is his view.
So it was just sort of out of interest and nothing deeper than that, you think?
Well, she thinks he had clairvoyance. So
really,
yeah,
interesting.
But he seemed to struggle with whether there could be what there could be beyond the material realm. So beyond that, I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, she didn't really go into much detail beyond that. So, but she said that he would know things like, you know, weird details and be aware of things. Bork, you want to try again?
Hello?
You want to try again?
Yeah, did you get anything from last time, or should I say it over
start
again?
over.
So it was kind of an expansion about your argument with Protestants and Nestorian ecclesiology, because if the church is the body of Christ, right? So I wanted to branch that to the Orientals, because from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, but they don't really like to make two distinct natures. They try to say it's all one Christ nature. But if you apply that to the church, that kind of muddies the divine and human nature of it, because for us, the human nature of it is the bishops, the clergy, the people are failures, and the divine is the sacraments and all that. But if you're Oriental and the church is truly the body of Christ, then doesn't that muddy everything?
The human elements of it that relate to human sin and failure are not the human nature. They're aspects of the fallen side of, you know, human nature, but the church is a theanthropic institution. So ultimately, yes, I would disagree. I would agree with the overall argument, but I would just disagree with some of the terminology that you used.
Yeah.
But yes, you could easily apply the tertium quid argument to the church as the body of Christ. What would that be? So are we some sort of hybrid thing? That makes no sense. But, you know, you're dealing with people who can't do metaphysics. A block, what's up? There is an IQ barrier to metaphysics. I don't care what anybody says, just a fact. And metaphysics isn't salvation, but to be able to do it does require a degree of IQ that a lot of those people just don't have and they can't do. I'll block, what's up? I'm mute.
Hey, man. Very quick question. I'm reading the Law of God, compiled by Archpriest Seraphim Slavodsky. Have you heard of this?
Yeah, I have it over here.
Oh, yeah. Okay, excellent. Look, I found this strange argument just in the first thing. This is about the 6-day creation. I don't know if you've thought much about this one. Apparently, according to Saint Basil's book on the 6 days.
Yeah, the Hexameron. Yeah, I read it 20 years ago.
Yeah. What do you think of this argument? And this is in the foreword. It says, our 24-hour days depend on the sun, and the sun did not yet exist the first 3 days. Hence, they were not like our days. So
it still doesn't prove day age theory, because regardless of all that, the definitive argument on this issue is the seventh day Sabbath. The week that we have and the end of the week throughout the entire Old Testament is based on creation and the Sabbath. The seventh day is the Sabbath that's modeled on creation. So it's part of the created order. So I don't care if there's a bad argument in that text. It's not like that's some infallible text. That's just some priest that wrote a catechism. Chad, what's up?
Hello?
Yep, what's up, man?
Can you hear me? I was curious what model of ethics you think the Bible argues for, or, just tradition. I've been, trying to answer these atheist questions.
Virtue ethics based on divine revelation, yeah.
Okay. What do you think, the problems are with deontology, consequentialism, stuff like that?
They fail pretty easily because, why are we supposed to do things for duty's sake, right? So just to say that if you're Kantian, well, you have a universalized duty. Why? Especially on Kantian grounds, Kant only knows what's in the structures of his own psyche. He doesn't know that actually applies to other people's minds and psyches. So the universalizing that he does really doesn't make any sense. There's not really any reason to do it. And consequentialist ethics, you can't, that would just devolve into relativism to base all of your ethical theories on how the consequences, it's basically just might makes right, or ends justify the means would be the end result of that. Sebastian, what's up? FDA, did you want to comment on any of the ethical issues? Why can't we just be consequentialists?
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
I switched over from the phone to the computer because it just kept kicking me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
On. So let's start with consequentialism.
Okay.
Consequentialism doesn't hold that anything has any moral intrinsic value. So that's off the table right away.
Yeah. Well, why not just be a Kantian?
Then deontological ethics is rule worshiping. So it's what we call in ethics absolutism, which means you could never lie. You basically, it doesn't matter if you have to lie to save your family. You're a rule worshiper, and you just worship these abstract kind of rules that obviously that's absurd. And I think I actually found in St. Basil, I got to pull up the quote, where it says, not only is a Christian permitted to lie, but sometimes required to lie. Now, that wouldn't work in deontological ethics because, well, it's the rule and you apply it to the nth degree everywhere at all times. It should just be patently, obviously false that things have nuance, that I think Roman Catholics tend to kind of really fall into Kantian kind of deontological ethics.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. They're all about rule worship, so absolutely.
Yeah, which commits the fallacy of accident. So you should always return property to its rightful owner, and you borrow your neighbor's hunting rifle. And then your neighbor has a psychotic break and has their family tied up and says, I'm going to kill them. And everybody in the neighborhood, oh, by the way, I want my hunting rifle.
Well, what's funny about that, yeah, is that Roman Catholics are also split on that issue, because if you read Alphonsus Liguori, who's one of the doctors of their church, he actually gives you all of these situations where you can and should lie. And the problem is that you have two radically different answers on what morals and ethics are in that system.
Yeah.
So St. Augustine, I think, would be on the side of what you're talking about. Like, you can never lie, even if it's, to save somebody. I'm pretty sure he has that position. But then the opposite position by St. Alphonsus Liguori is that, no, you have all these situations where you're actually required to lie. And a lot of the canon law, casuistry, Talmudic proponents use that to get around things like the Pharisees and Catholicism. So you can have two extremes here. You can have the Pharisee extreme where the law is discarded for, you get creative with justifying anything, or the extreme of you can never say something untrue. But what's funny about that is like that gets really absurd. That's like Puritan ethics, right? So Puritans would say stuff like, well, we follow Augustine more strictly because you can't write fiction stories because fiction is a lie.
Oh, yeah. Wow, that's a good point. By the way, this is what's so absurd when the online papists attacked us. You allow contraception.
Yeah, exactly.
No, we don't actually allow contraception. Now, are there unique cases, rare unique cases of non-abortive situations? Once in a while. But, I mean, it's so absurd to have that. We created this abstract rule and we follow it all the time. Well, first of all, not until real recently. So what does that say about Roman Catholicism for the entirety of its history? Number two, none of you are practicing contraception anyways. But you know what their response is? Put on paper. I mean, that's the Roman Catholic Church for you. It doesn't matter that everybody's worshiping
annulments are like given out all the time, but they have they have a legality by which they're it's casuistry, so they're bypassing the law. It's the Pharisees, so it's like, well, we're not doing divorces because an annulment's not a divorce, and even though it's exactly the same, we use a different word, so you guys are hypocrites.
But it's just so silly that who cares if you put out on paper?
Yeah. Right.
When your entire church is gay and pedo and like it's just falling apart, like that's what you think is going to save you?
Yes.
Is being plugged into we formerly worked out the system on paper. I mean, what a spurgy religion.
Yeah, and to the guy in the chat spurging out, we don't care. No, he's not a moron. He's a professor. And if you want to call in and give some of your arguments as to why we're incorrect, that's what you do around here. We don't let you just spam your gibberish in the chat. You can come and hit request to speak or you're gone. Hush Tones, what's up?
Hey, man. I don't know if you saw the post yesterday from Curtis Yarvin of him in side of an Orthodox church.
I did.
Yep. Yeah, I
had like 20 people send it to me right away.
Right. I got you. I just wanted to know if you had any interesting thoughts on that, because he's kind of like the court philosopher for like the J.D. Vance types, and it seems like him going into Orthodoxy would kind of set him apart.
I hope he is sincere and is looking into it and it moves in the right direction. So
yeah,
but keep in mind too, I mean, you gotta not, I don't mean to dispel people's excitement, but a lot of people dip their toes, and don't become. So what's up, man? Period. Unmute.
Hey, Jay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hey, I'll try to be quick. I don't know if this is on topic on what you're talking about tonight, but I have been an atheist my entire life. I stumbled upon your videos, watched you do some debates, watch you debate tag. I'm convinced by the soundness of your argument that it's factually correct, but that doesn't make me believe, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, I could understand. I could understand thinking the argument was pretty solid, but not necessarily moving the direction of becoming, a Christian. The argument is just an intellectual kind of argument, and it only goes so far. So, the next step is, to become Orthodox. But no, I do understand, recognizing that arguments only go so far.
Yeah, it definitely changed my mind. But I guess if I were looking to step further into that or change the heart, so to speak, do you have recommendations or ideas on next steps? I mean, I guess
just go to an Orthodox church.
Random church?
Well, not random. I would say, try to find a, Russian Orthodox church, Serbian Orthodox church, Romanian Orthodox church, Antiochian Orthodox church, in that rough order. If you only have Greek or OCA churches around you, that's what you got. But I would check out other things too beyond just the logic and philosophy. Watch the Icon documentary, watch Fountain of Immortality documentary. Those are some good places to start. But I appreciate you calling in. That's a great question, because I think a lot of people understand that intellectual apologetic arguments only go so far, and it's important to recognize that. Because if you don't recognize that, what you end up getting is a lot of sort of orthospurgs who just exist online claiming to be Orthodox, but they've never gone to church. And we have always said that is nonsense. That's ridiculous. And so the people who accuse us of creating that or pushing that are just straight up lying, because we've never said that. And we've always decried that. Nico, what's up? He's a Jaytheist. That was a good one. What's up, man?
So I wanted to ask you about, do you know about the Greek saints, Saint Porphyrius, Saint Paisios?
I mean, I know of them and I know some about them. I'm not experts in their lives. I have a couple books.
Yeah, because they have a lot of wisdom, and I've seen that you're more intellectual on the Holy Fathers and on the doctrine. But I think it's going to be very enriching for you if you if you read about their lives and about what they've said and their prophecies. Because I've seen that on some other lives that you have done, that you don't really believe that we live, actually we live near the end time and we're gonna see the Antichrist. So
okay, well, maybe you're right, and I appreciate you recommending that, and I will take a look at that. I didn't say that we are not. I said that I don't know and we don't know. That's what I said. What's up, man? I also said that when it is that time, we will know. So let's be clear with what I said. Theological truth. What's up? Unmute.
Hello?
Uh-huh.
So my question was, when people talk about tag, and I think that's like a really good argument, one of the things they bring up is that how do you motivate the first premise? What would you say to that?
Motivate the first premise? I mean, tags laid out a lot of different ways. So specifically, which way, which type of tag argument?
I'm talking about how,
like, X is a necessary condition of Y. How do I know that that's the case? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Well, if you said it's not the case, I think you would be in more hot water than if it is the case. So it's a more damaging, destructive position. So I would just say, by the impossibility of the contrary, it would be absurd to say that there's not logical entailments. It'd be like saying, how do we know logics? I mean, if that's the case, then language isn't possible. Speech isn't possible.
Yeah, because I remember that discussion you had with that guy, Amdur, I think his name was, or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And he kind of like didn't understand that the impossibility of the contrary is like a valid move to do in like an argument. I think that's what a lot of people are hung up on, I think.
Probably. Yeah, you're probably right about that. I forget exactly. Yeah, go ahead.
Why don't you accept cosmological arguments for God's existence? Like, why don't you use them personally?
Because they rely on things being self-evident, and so I think all the classical arguments are fallacious and have problems.
And I mean, isn't the cosmological argument like more of like a scientific argument, though?
Well, that makes it even worse, because if it's in the domain of science, that's relying on even more dubious type stuff. So, I mean, let's just say I'm a Humean, and I would make Hume's arguments against the cosmological argument.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, I think I do believe in cosmology. If you watch I do believe in causation and the cosmological principle in the universe, and I believe in teleology and all that. And if you go watch the live stream that I did with Tim Gordon, you'll see where we talk about we agree on the metaphysical principles. The difference is that they believe that the justification for those principles is the principle of self-evidence, which is arbitrary, it's ad hoc, and can't stand up under just basic philosophical scrutiny. So I think that the cosmological argument, the teleological argument, could be reformulated as transcendental versions of the cosmological argument or the teleological argument, and that makes them stronger and better. But the problem is that the modern world is based, post-Enlightenment, on skepticism, and if we're going to respond to the modern world, postmodern world, then we're going to have to respond to skepticism. It's not going to work to just repeat medieval Aquinas stuff. So we have to meet them where their arguments are. Unex, what's up? FDA, if you want to comment on any of that, feel free. Father Deacon? Okay. Unmex, what's a Unex? Unmute.
Oh, yo.
Hey.
Where do you disagree with Monson? Well, obviously he's reformed. I'm also reformed, but like, let's say using the tag.
I mean,
argument
total
of-
depravity, I think, just on a, the noetic effects of sin would make knowing with certitude the transcendental argument impossible.
Okay, that's kind of where I was at. Like,
Yeah.
what's the Eastern Orthodox view on original sin? Because when I read Romans 5, I'm like, I don't know, how can you not believe in total depravity?
Well, I mean,
And,
there's
like,
nothing in
everything
Romans 5 that talks about total depravity. In fact, if you look at my endorsed article critiquing Augustine, he shows that Augustine misunderstood and came up with the idea of the mas damnata by misunderstanding Romans 5. So Romans 5 doesn't say that all men are in Adam as in an archetype sinning. That's how Augustine interprets it. It's all men are in Adam and then sin because they're descendants of Adam. So sin is described in James as a personal act of the will against the divine law or against concupiscence, etc., or to give into concupiscence or the passions. And Calvinism and Reformed theology makes nature itself a state of sin. So you're actually Manichaean if you believe that nature is inherently sinful when God creates natures. So God creates sinful natures. Well, now you're Manichaean.
I mean, Manichaeanism
why is that funny?
it's so crazy, but
Why is that?
well, I don't know. Like, I don't see any of that in Romans 5. Like, how would you walk through Romans 12 to 21?
5 or 12?
Romans 5, 12 through 21. Like,
Well, you're
so
you're giggling like, well, yeah, of course not, it's not going to say Manichaeanism in Romans 5, but what's funny about do you think God creates nature sinful?
no, it's just sin was in the world because of Adam. I mean, death reigned from Adam until Moses.
Okay, so is my nature sinful?
All is in sin.
Is my nature sinful?
Is my nature sinful? Yeah, we have a
So does God create natures?
Yeah.
Okay, so God creates sin natures. That's what you just said.
No,
It's literally what you just said.
Our nature is tainted because of Adam.
I know that, but what that means can be described by different theological traditions differently. So I asked you, is there a sin nature in us? You said yes. I said, does God create natures? You said yes. So God created a sin nature. That's Manichaeanism.
Okay, well, that doesn't get away. I mean, because I know the Eastern Orthodox, you guys say like we sin because of like the pattern, right? Because of like influence in a sense.
No, we
right?
inherit the passions from Adam, what the Roman Catholics call concupiscence, the Orthodox call the passions. We inherit that from Adam. What we don't believe in is inherited guilt. An infant is not guilty for Adam's sin. He experiences the effects of the sin, but just like if I was to put fentanyl in my family village or in my village's water supply and everybody becomes a drug addict, they're not guilty of being drug addicts because I put that in there and did that to them. They are experiencing the effects of the sin, but they are not guilty of actual sin. And so the Roman Catholic Church and the Orthodox Church agree that actual sin is actually what sin means. But law of sin and these kinds of things are the way that Paul describes the effects of the fall. So there's a great article right here, by the way, critiquing Augustine's mistranslation and misunderstanding of Romans 5 right here at the Taboric Light. I will put this in the show description. It's probably the best refutation of this whole idea. And what it means is that we sin because we are sons of Adam. We are not sinners in Adam because we haven't committed sin until we commit sins. That's why Ezekiel says, no man is put to death for the sins of his father. You know that says that in Ezekiel, right?
Yeah, but
okay. So how does that work? How do you reconcile it? Because the Orthodox position reconciles these two views.
Well, because is that the father? Like, okay, I know what you're talking about, but the context is just completely different. But can I press you on one more thing on Romans?
Well,
5?
how do you? Well, you just assert that, and then you want to go on to something else.
No, because I want to stick to Romans 5. I don't want to jump around. Please, just let me get.
Why do you
let me
keep
get this one
giggling,
thing.
dude? I don't understand why. What's so funny about this? And you're giggling.
Because
That's
I just don't. I don't want you to
condescending
get mad.
giggle. What?
I don't want you to get mad. I don't want you to get mad yet.
Okay, this is just like how are you? Are you 20? I don't understand what 22-year-olds like this gay giggle you guys do. It's just so ridiculous,
All
man.
right, can I press you on Romans 5, 16 to 17?
Well,
'Cause you
it's
said,
not just
you said we don't inherit the
I
nature.
just
I mean,
slow down, dude. Look, okay. First of all, I want you to understand that how we read Romans 5 is going to be dependent upon our theological tradition. So I'm requesting people go and read this article here because I used to be a Calvinist. I used to be Augustinian. I know what you argue. I know what you think. But the Byzantine tradition has a different reading because Augustine is wrong about the Greek, and Meyendorff shows that. It's not that everybody is in Adam as in an archetype. That's the Augustinian reading. It doesn't say that. It says the opposite, that we sin because we are sons of Adam. We're not sinners in Adam. You understand that? That's a very different reading. That's why Ezekiel does matter, and you just brushing it off as it's a different context. Well, why? How is it a different context when it's God's principle that he doesn't want offspring put to death for the sins of the father?
yeah, well, we'd have to get into like the creative will and all that stuff. Okay, but
Well, how do you
okay,
hold on? How many wills are in God?
I mean, there's.
What
I
does
mean, there's
classical
will.
Trinitarian theology say about how many wills are in God?
I mean, there's one will about
Okay,
being. But,
thank you. So there's not a decretive will and a revealed will, and however many wills Calvinists want to come up with.
I mean, we're the creature, so I mean, we can only see so much. But Romans, I think Romans 8 says the flesh cannot, please God or do anything good without the Spirit.
Do you think so that's why you're Gnostic and that's why you're Manichaean? The flesh there is Paul's description of the mode of how we act as fallen beings. He's not talking about our physical body. It's the law of sin. You understand? There's no actual literal law of sin because God creates all things and God does not create evil. So how is there a law of sin if God creates all things? And you think it's an actual literal law?
I don't know if you knew. I don't know if you know what I mean by the flesh. I mean, I agree with you. I'm not saying.
I used to be a Calvinist. I know the position.
I'm saying like the nature, like the flesh. Like.
Do you understand that in Genesis it said God creates all things and he pronounces them good, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
yes.
so do you think evil has ontological status or being?
I don't know. What would that entail?
Well, I mean, a nature has existence. So if God creates sinful natures, then he's creating sinful existences or sin itself, right? Are you a Muslim? You know, Muslims believe that God actually literally creates evil sins and things that are evil.
I mean, I think God decrees all things to come to pass. I think that's pretty clear.
The question wasn't about the decree. Does he create evil natures?
I mean, that's a question no one's answered. No theologian.
Well, Scripture says that he does not will or create evil. So which one is it?
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but...
Oh, but now he does
how-
create
how-
nature. So what is a nature? Are there natures that don't have
sin-
existence?
No, but I mean, how sin came in the world, I mean, how... I don't know.
I'm not asking you the origin of it. I'm asking you, is sin an ontological thing? Does it have existence? Is it a nature?
No.
You already said 5
No,
minutes
I
ago
mean,
that we have a sinful nature. Did you not say that? You said we have a sin nature.
We do, but...
Okay, so now there is evil natures. So you just contradict yourself again.
No, but like when Paul says, for on the one hand, judgment arose from one transgression results in condemnation. And through the one, all sin, came.
Yeah, but that means that we all sin because we live up to be sinners. It doesn't mean that I'm already a sinner in Adam when I don't even exist yet. That's the point I'm making about the Taboric Light article on Meyendorff critiquing Augustine. So you're just reading the passage with the Augustinian reading, and I'm saying that I already knew that's what you were going to go to because it's a wrong reading. It doesn't say that we literally have actual sin from being in Adam. It says that we are sinners, meaning that we will all sin.
Okay, I mean, I'm going to read what you post there, but... So hypothetically,
but you don't understand that you're not even understanding that there's a more fundamental problem with your position, which is that you already said there's a sin nature. And then you also said that God creates all natures. So God creates a sin nature?
I don't know, man.
Okay, yeah.
I just
I
don't want to get
appreciate
too.
you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Eric, what's up?
Hey Jay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hey, I've got two very quick questions. I'm just curious if you think the first premise of this argument is true. So premise one, if the theory of evolution is true, then Orthodox Christian theism is false. Premise two, evolution is true, therefore Orthodox Christian theism is false. Would you just grant the first premise in that case?
I didn't even hear it, man.
Sorry. So premise one, if the theory of evolution is true, then Orthodox Christian theism is false. Premise two,
It's ambiguous because I don't know what you mean by. Do you mean macroevolution with the Big Bang and all the, do you just mean a single descendant? Do you mean, adaptation? It's too ambiguous.
Or macroevolution.
I think conceivably it could be a defeater, sure.
Okay, cool. Would you be willing to debate someone like, I don't know, Inspiring Philosophy on the second premise?
I already tried years ago to debate Inspiring Philosophy, and he wouldn't do it.
I'll set up for you. I'll be back. Take care, Jay.
I didn't say that I was ready to do that. So.
By the way,
and I didn't approve for you to set up debates for me. So
it's not clear even what premise two means to say a theory is true, especially within the philosophy of science.
Explain that.
Well, I mean, to be able to verify, think about all the things we've gone over in philosophy of science. There's really no way to say any theory's true for various reasons, right? You have the problem of induction, you have the underdetermination of data, you have the problem of experiment, right? That you basically would have to isolate every single variable if you did an experiment. You have the subjectivity problem so maybe in a loose sense you can say hey, this theory is true, but not in the sense that it would be a defeater for orthodoxy. That's why I was saying you're never going to get a scientific theory to the level of knowledge that you want to do anything. So even if that's the best theory out there. So it's just weird to me actually that people just don't even understand how.
No, I'd rather debate IP on his faulty Protestant theology. That's more important than whether or not he can make evolution work with his evangelical theology. And no, I'm not. I already agreed to a debate 5 years ago with Inspiring Philosophy, and he and Cameron Cucking Christianity canceled the debate because they asked me to not be mean. I kid you not. And I said, I'm not going to agree to your subjective definition of what being mean is. And so they leaked all the texts, the DMs of the conversation. And by the way, I thought that was retarded, but I let all that go and was nice to Cameron and IP again. And so all of these goobers that want to try to set up debates for other people without them. If IP wants a debate, he can come set that up with me. And I didn't give you permission to go set up debates for me. This, by the way, gets on my nerves because a lot of people go out doing this. Oh, you don't want debate Dyer? I'll set this up with debate. I didn't tell you to set up a debate. Oh, look, Dyer's running. No, it's just that I set up the debates I want. You do not set up debates for me. I don't know who you are. I have no idea what you're saying. And it makes people...
I'm the only handler for J. Dyer.
Only FDA is my handler. And by the way, it makes people think that all of these other randos are like my representatives. Oh, he represents Dyer. No, I don't agree to a debate unless I agree to the debate. So Inspiring Philosophy can reach out to me because we are on friendly terms and we can set up a debate. But I'm not sure that I think evolution is stupid, and I'm not even that invested in debating it. I would much rather debate I would much rather debate though a more fundamental problem with IP, which is his Protestant theology. So I'll debate him on his Protestantism. How's that?
Why are people so obsessed about this topic about evolution and older versus young. I find it's come up recently that everybody is just kind of spurting
Because
out
they
on-
want to look plausible for normies.
Yeah, good point.
I think that's my take on it, bro. We just did your evolution stuff, man. I'm not in the mood for Orthodox people calling in with the same stuff every time. Kenneth, what's up? Look, if you are committed to evolution, go believe it. like what? If you want to be believing retarded nonsense, go for it. Nobody's stopping you. Come present. By the way, if you want to argue it, present the argument. What is the argument that convinces me of macroevolution? Where is it? Show me. I mean, we're always sitting here open for years, and all I ever hear is, but the flies in the jar, and the blah, blah, blahs, and the retrovirus, and the endogenous retrovirus. And none of that proves that one species mutates into another. Ton Smith, $5. What is the boundary of divine? Oh, we did that yesterday. Excuse me. Father Andrew was asked if he had problems with you, and he said not at all. He's just saying that for public consumption. Asmongold, $2. Would you be interested in holding a rap battle between Bryson and Ruslan KD? Yes, if I can also do the whole hosting in the voice of Bryson.
What that is? Get a rap battle, dog.
Eugene, run it. Oh, we did that. Jay, what does Mark 9:38 mean? It means that Jesus is not opposed to this person casting out demons, because as we see in the book of Acts, if you read Acts 8 and 15, I think it's either 15 or 17, when Paul finds people outside of the Episcopal Apostolic Church governance, he brings them under it. When he meets the disciples of Apollo, when he meets the other people that are just baptized into John's baptism, he goes ahead and brings them into the full relationship of the church that was at that time being set up. So no, Jesus is not a mega ecumenist here saying that you can just go set up your deliverance exorcism ministries and it doesn't matter. It's just ridiculous. There's nothing in this passage that is supporting that. The assumption is that that person will eventually be on their side. Kenneth, what's up? What's the frequency, Kenneth?
Hey, I'm sorry, I'm new here. This might not be the place to ask this question, but I was wondering if you could point me in like what kind of Bible should I read for like the Eastern Orthodoxy?
The Orthodox Study Bible.
Orthodox Study Bible?
Yep.
The space version, the Orthodox Space Bible.
The Mormon Space Wives version. Mormon Space Wives Study Bible, written by the celestial babes themselves. Yorm, what's up?
Hey Jay, I have a couple questions regarding orthodoxy. One of them would be, I find that after watching a couple of your videos, it seems that some of the like Rokor and Russian Orthodoxy seems a little bit less pious than other, I guess you could say other sects. I just wanted your thoughts on that.
That's complete nonsense. There's no way you could get that from my videos. I attend a Rokor church. What are you talking about?
Like in the sense that
that sounds like totally made up.
Russian Orthodox has I guess you could say less of these like less liberal ideas than some of the other ones. Is that?
How would that translate into being less pious?
That's a good point.
Okay. I don't know. What you're saying to me makes sense, man. Fred, what's up? It's probably he's just trolling.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up, dog? Fred Sanford, what's up?
Hello.
Fred Sanford, what's up?
What's good, man? I'm glad to be here.
What's on your mind?
I got a question. So, I recently, converted to Orthodoxy, like I'm gonna say a week ago. But it's like I still got a couple more questions, because I'm convinced of orthodoxy in the spirit, like in my spirit. I know this is the truth, but it's like I still got a question. For example, I know you probably answered this a million times, but I've been trying to like find a video of you going through it fully, but I haven't really found one. It's like, how do we know like the orthodoxy is like the true church? Because there's the Catholics, because the Catholics can say that they're the true church. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how do we like,
Yeah, actually, that's a great question. So I'm gonna pull up the video here. We did. It was me, Father Deacon, and David, and the challenge is to remember the name of it. Metaphysics of the Papacy, I think that's it. But I also have another video that goes through evangelicalism, papacy, that I'll try to find too. Because we try to make these pretty exhaustive, you know what I mean? But let's see here. Okay, this one I think is pretty good. Church Papacy Schism with me and FDA and David, I think. Also, I think this one is a pretty knockdown argument against the papacy, that it required belief in the temporal supremacy to be saved, and then for almost 1,000 years, and now doesn't. So the first one is metaphysics of the papacy. The next one is how the papacy evolved from spiritual authority to global power. I think that's a pretty knockdown argument. And I'm not just saying that because I think, it's your own arguments. No, I've not seen any of the Roman Catholics even attempting to deal with that argument. So I think those are good for papacy. And then evangelical. I think the best video we did on that's probably business church. Or maybe just refuting PSA, penal substitutionary atonement. Because as a PSA goes, that's pretty much all classical Protestantism. Also, there's this debate. I forgot about the debate, the three-way debate.
Decided upon.
So
and even
me debating Tim Gordon's brother, Dave Gordon, and debating a Baptist pastor, theologian right there. That's another good one, or you can see, the three views contrasted, although I don't think anybody thinks that Baptist pastor was a very good debater. He was one of the worst. It was all just like feelings and my personal testimony. Here we go. This is it. Protestantism and Evangelicalism Refuted. It has over 100,000 views now from 7 years ago. This is a classic too. A lot of people have found this one. This might be the first one where I talk about business church too. I don't remember, but so those are good ones, I would say. Let's see. Jose, what's up, man? Do y'all like the lighting? I mean, I had to try to figure all this out and ask professionals. And I've got it set to the warmest so I don't look like a pasty ghost man. Is that, y'all like seeing all my blackheads and my beautiful Ediva visage? Is everything good? Well, Jose, what's up, man? I'm mute. Jose, unmute if you want to talk. Excuse me, Joseph. I can only see the first 4 letters.
Hey, Jay.
Yeah.
Hey, so I have a question. So I grew up in the fundamentalist Mormon FLDS.
Oh man, it's crazy.
I'm a catechumen in the Orthodox Church now, but
okay.
So I'm just wondering if you have some information or book or whatever about like Freemasonry in the like early America.
That is a good question. There is a book that's pretty good, written by a Roman Catholic guy, and I would agree with his book. I don't promote Roman Catholicism, but there's chapters on Masonry in early America. His name is Paul Fisher. Yeah, it's called Behind the Lodge Door Church. This is it. Church, State, and Freemasonry by Paul Fisher. That's a pretty good book.
All right.
Yeah. Great question. And man, I'm glad to hear that you're moving in the direction of Orthodoxy and getting out of the Mormon stuff. Appalachian Goy, what's up?
Hi, Jay. Hi, Father Deacon. I just had a quick question. If it's too long of an answer, you can just point me somewhere. But when Cain got banished for killing Abel, weren't there people in like the town there? Like I could be wrong, but how did they get there? And this is not an evolutionary point.
No, I understand. I think we're supposed to believe, and it's a good question. I know it comes up in the Genesis creation early man, but I forget the section. But I think we're supposed to believe that it's not just Cain and Abel. They also had other children. So Adam and Eve had other children, but the story focuses on the narrative of the conflict between Cain and Abel for narrative purposes. But I think that's what's going on.
That makes sense. All right, thanks a lot. You
Yeah.
guys have a Merry Christmas.
You too, man. Appreciate that. Let's see. Colin, what's up, man? Colin, you want to unmute? Colin Brown, unmute if you want to talk. Yosker. What's up?
Hello.
What's up? How you doing?
Hey, Jay. Quick question. I just wanted to ask, have you ever read the book called Thinking Orthodox by Eugenius Carvelis Constantinet?
No.
Oh, okay. So then I guess you can't recommend that. But,
Well, I wouldn't recommend it anyway because she's wants to be a preacher in the church as a woman, so I wouldn't recommend her. Chinese characters, what's up? Unmute. I can't read your name, dude. Okay, don't talk, whatever. Miguel? Miguel, what's up? Unmute.
Hello, Jay. Can you hear me?
Yes, what's on your mind?
I'm calling you from Portugal. I'm Orthodox, and I just wanted to ask you, since it's going to be almost impossible for in Mendham to be addressed with his anti-natalism, although I believe there would be.
Who? What?
In Mendham, do not God in Mendham, someone that's. What is that very famous debater that you're friends with, the one with the beard? I always forget names. He has a wife, and she's quite a good debater as well. She just
Andrew
recently had a
Wilson?
debate. Yes, that's the one. Yeah.
Okay.
She debated an anti-natalist.
Oh, okay.
And although it seemed like it was debated using a lot of the tactics of debating tactics to sort of get the upper hand and catch people in logical fallacies, which obviously it's good, it's correct if you.
Well, catching a person in a fallacy isn't a tactic. That's what debate's about.
Yeah, I see. I see you, and it makes complete sense what you're saying. It's a fallacy, therefore it must be called on and must be
Well, I mean, that's what debate is about. I mean, it's like I'd be like saying playing chess is you're using the rules of chess to play chess tricks on people.
Yeah, and that's unfair. Yeah, I know. You're right. But what I felt because I was an anti-natalist, kind of very, very. I didn't believe in anything really. But I had bad experiences throughout my life, so I kind of value for me value was non-existent, especially when it came to life. But now I'm an Orthodox, and I really think that from my perspective, from where we used to stand before, I still believe that that's a field that should still be addressed in terms of calling upon or showing the value of life as it is, as it stands, and to be able to counter argue the points that anti-natalists, because I don't believe that if I was if it had been me listening to the debate, it would not have sufficed, even if logically fallacies were shown, right, and therefore the crumbling of the argument was presented as not standing on valid grounds, but still from
Okay,
the
but
in terms
okay, I get what you're saying, but then that means that the proper format for showing the value of life outside of debate is other means and other ways. Making aesthetically pleasing videos or writing good books that make the case. But I don't disagree. But like what you're talking about would just simply be pro-life material or pro-life media that's not a
Yeah.
debate, and I don't see why we would. I mean, I agree. Yeah, there should be all kinds of that, but in a debate setting, it would be absolutely appropriate for Rachel to point out the fallacies in the debate opponent, because that's just what debate is. So, and I support Rachel debating antinatalists. I think that's great. Parker, what's up? Danny and Parker, what's up? Gatheus, what's up? I'm just joking. Parker, I'm mute.
Hey Jay.
Hey.
Hey, I was calling. I was wondering if you could check something out on stream. It's on Bill Hicks's channel, Sacred Cow Productions. It's a video of Joe Rogan and Alex Jones meeting. It's like super weird. It almost seems like they're doing like a time traveler humor. I was wondering if you could check it out.
Time traveler humor?
Yeah, he says things like, well, the conversation's like really similar to, like, I don't want to say any other conversation that they've had, but they discuss like a lot of stuff that people are talking about now, which is, I mean, I know Alex Jones is obviously ahead of his time sort of, but it's just a strange interaction because Alex kind of has some outbursts and then Joe's like, look at him, he brought his A game. It almost seems like he's saying he's acting. So I was just wondering if you could check that out.
Well, I mean, Alex has an acting side to him. He's been in 2 or 3 movies. So, I'm on Bill Hicks. Hold on. Not Bill Hicks's channel.
It's called Sacred Cow Productions. It's Bill Hicks and someone else.
I'm familiar with
the
it.
The rest of the channel has other stuff as well. Yeah,
I'm familiar with it.
It's got some strange stuff. And I actually had one other thing.
Okay. What's
I
the
was
video?
wondering,
Hold on, man. I
what
went to the
video?
trouble.
It's called. Go ahead.
Okay, I pulled it up. Everything on is it Joe Rogan meets Alex Jones, Houston Laugh Stop.
Yeah, it's a 2-part video. It's actually like, it's kind of strange. It's segmented pre 9/11 and post 9/11. And there's an interjection with I forget who it is, but he's got some kind of strange alignment. He's in like a leather jacket. It just seems like just seems very much like time traveling Fed stuff, honestly.
What do you mean? What do you mean
know if it's
time
meant to be
traveling?
that way.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. Time traveling feds. Okay. All right, I'm over. I'm out. What's up, man? Yes, Alex Jones is Bill Hicks, and he's a time traveling fed. There you go. Cool. Now we went full schizo. What's up, man? ICXC. I'm mute.
Hey man, what's up? I had a quick question. Do you have any, like, would you recommend any good works against Judaizing? I know that you have like Ignatius, Letter to the Magnesians is very clear, but any like modern works or like a compilation by a specific author?
I mean, the liturgy and the typology of the church refutes Judaizing. The council in Acts 15 refutes Judaizing. So it's just amazing to me that, I mean, the whole documentary, Orthodox Shahada on Christian worship in the Old Testament, watch that documentary. And you can get the 2 books recommended in that documentary, which are good. Williams and Anstall book and the Hugh Wybrew book. Godfather Dean, what is up, my man? Guys, I have, as you guys know, hosting the 4th hour. I've gotten to know Alex really well for many years, been hung out with him many times, dinner, multiple podcast shows, and I can confirm that Al Jones is actually not Bill Hicks. He's actually Dave Chappelle. I know it doesn't make sense, but if you're a time traveling Fed, you can also be transracial. What's up, Dean? You want to unmute? No, I did not get a new camera. This is the same camera that I've had for about almost a year, or maybe 6 months, a year.
Yeah. Sorry about that. A little slow.
Oh, go ahead,
slow
Dean.
trigger.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. I don't know much, but I do know something about the Cain and Abel question, so I
Okay,
thought I'd call
sure.
in. The Book of Jubilees says that Adam and Eve had 23 kids.
Oh, interesting. I wasn't aware of that.
And then if you consider the fact that they lived to be 900 years old,
Right.
then you've got, lots of many generations. So if, let's say, Cain was 250, then it's certainly not beyond the pale for him to find a city.
It's a great point. Yeah, I wasn't even aware of that in the Book of Jubilees. Yeah, the reason.
That's all I got.
Oh, thank you, Dean. That's really
ahead.
really helpful. I always love it. I mean, crowdsourced intel is awesome. Could you make me a couple of espressos, Jamie? Thank you. So, by the way, a lot of people said they wanted a Silent Hill live stream. Well, it turns out I didn't realize last night when I played a little bit of Silent Hill, I actually beat it. So, I already beat Silent Hill. So, if we do a video game stream, I got to figure out a different game to play. But we'll see. Charles, what's up? No, I do like the methylene blue. It actually works. I didn't realize, somebody told me the other day though that you got to cycle on and off of the methylene blue. It's like you could do it for 5 days and then you take a 2-day break, which I didn't realize that when I just was doing it every day. So I know, right? I'm in this because it was like wearing off and I was having to drink more and more. So
No. Oh yeah, I've been doing the same thing. And by the way, don't take it with cough medicine. There's like a couple different things that I think it acts as an MAOI.
yes, you're right.
So you
Correct.
kind of got to be careful about
Yeah,
certain
good
stuff.
point.
But hey, I got to run. Thanks for having
Okay,
me.
well,
on,
thank
Jay.
you. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on and for your input.
God bless you.
And guys, also, I do share the super chats with FTA. If you want to support the stream, you can do so by sending super chats through Streamlabs, preferably linked in the chat, also in the show description. But you can also stream or send me a super chat natively through YouTube. They do take 30% though. Charlie, what's up, Charles?
Hey, Jay, Merry Christmas. Hey, I had a question really quick before maybe we could get into tussling on what was going on earlier with PSA and original sin. As I'm looking around trying to find resources on covenant theology from an Eastern Orthodox perspective, I'm finding very little. So what would you recommend? Because you referenced it sometimes, but I know that probably what you mean by covenant theology isn't the same as what was,
Well, I mean, yeah, like we're not going to believe in a that there's a covenant of grace and a covenant of works. We believe that every covenant has an expectation on both parties. Even the Abrahamic covenant in Genesis 22, there's an expectation that Abraham will keep the commands and his sons and daughters will keep the commands. So none of the covenants were absolutely unconditional. And really, ultimately, none of this is all resolved through Trinitarian theology and Christology. So we see the soteriology through the lens of Christology, whereas the order of theology is different in Reformed theology. They see soteriology first, and then they do Trinitarian theology and Christology down the road. But that's unfortunately why you guys have heterodox Trinitarian and Christian Christological theology.
Could I ask you a clarifying question?
Sure.
And then, okay. So, from an Eastern Orthodox perspective, are the covenants successive, though?
Absolutely, yeah.
Like-
As Paul
okay,
says,
so-
every promise, and that's the covenant promise. Every promise in Corinthians is yea in Him.
So that's where there'd be overlap then, at least. Whereas from probably your background that Reformed covenant theology confesses the covenant of works with Adam in the garden.
Yeah, we
which
don't
was
believe that.
transgressed by Adam.
There is no
Oh, so you
there is no
don't think-
covenant of works that Jesus fulfills to satisfy divine wrath. That's all Protestant made up nonsense.
You don't think that there's a covenant with Adam, though?
No, there is. There's not
There's
a
no
covenant of
covenant?
works that Jesus then fulfills, because that would make grace created. It would mean that Jesus merited a created state and a bunch of created actions that fulfill a covenant of works that then puts us in a legal imputational standing.
What was the stipulation of the covenant with Adam then?
Don't eat. Obedience.
Was it so it was obedience to God?
Yeah. Just like
Did
in
he- and
just like in the Abrahamic covenant as well. I think it's Genesis 22.
So when Adam breaks the covenant with God, does the stipulation go away, or is it still on mankind? Like, does Adam's disobedience annul the covenant, or is the covenant still in effect?
No, what I said was every covenant, whether from Adam all the way up to Christ, like has stipulations of obedience.
Yes, but I'm asking still about the Adamic covenant. So when Adam broke the Adamic covenant with God, was that covenant void, or was it still in effect?
No, it would. I mean, all of the covenants are in Christ and point to Christ, so it wouldn't be void because Christ, as Paul says in 2 Corinthians, is the new Adam.
So Adam, as a representative of humanity, still owed God perfect obedience, even though he transgressed the covenant.
Well, no, I'm making when I say Christ fulfills the covenants, that includes the Adamic covenant, but it's not a covenant of works that he merits the fulfillments of, because there is no created status of meriting because he's a divine person. So from the very instance of his incarnation, he was always a divine person. He was always deifying the human nature. So there was no merited status of created works.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm still just only asking about Adam, because I do have a follow up here. I'm just trying to see where we kind of differ and where we agree.
That's fine. No, I'm not trying. Yeah,
Yeah.
I welcome the questions. I'm not trying to evade it. I'm just maybe I'm not understanding, because I keep seeing them as sort of referencing Christ. But are you saying like so are you saying like when Adam and Eve are booted out, like do they still have a duty to fulfill the Adamic covenant? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, so let me say what I would say, and then you could pick it apart.
Okay.
So I would say that Adam.
Hey, hold on one second. Just one second. Hey,
Yeah.
Jamie, could you bring me that old Bible that's sitting on the altar? Let me get my other Bible because I've got some notes relevant to this in that Bible.
For sure.
Go ahead. And make your your point.
Yeah, so we confess that Adam, Christ is the second Adam, as revealed in the New Testament, right? So there is this relationship of headship set up between the first Adam and the second Adam.
Yes.
Whereas there's humanity was all in the first Adam, and either Adam would secure the blessing for us or not. And likewise, Paul sets up Christ as the second Adam. So setting that aside, though, for a second, with regard to the Adamic covenant, we would say that God made Adam in covenant to glorify and enjoy him forever. And that what that entailed is what you said, which was personal, perfect, perpetual obedience. But in the fall didn't annul the stipulations of the covenant. It broke the covenant. But as Adam and Eve are leaving, they leave with a promise that the offspring would come from the woman that would crush the serpent's head. And then this promise is expanded upon in successive covenants to entail what this means. But effectively what God gave to Adam and Eve as they're leaving the garden is this promise to rectify the covenant which had been broken, which broke communion with God. And so that's what Christ is doing. Christ, I agree with you, Christ is not just fulfilling one covenant. That's where in Reformed theology we would say all of the covenants are successive of the covenant of grace, even the Mosaic covenant, which was given for a reason as a pedagogue, right? In that Christ actually is not just fulfilling the Mosaic, he is fulfilling all the promises given to Abraham, to Noah, to David even, and even that promise given to Adam and Eve, which was another covenant cutting because God kills animals, covers them with skins and whatnot. So do you agree with that, or is there something in there that you would differentiate yourself with?
So again, I mean, I'm familiar with the Westminster Confession. I used to be in a traditional Reformed church, and there is some debate even amongst Reformed theologians about the status of the covenant of grace, whether it was a covenant compacted amongst the members of the Trinity before the foundation of the world. So, depending on how far into Reformed theology you want to take it, what I would disagree with is, number one, there is no before the foundation of the world covenant with the members of the Trinity for Jesus to die only for the elect. So I would absolutely out of hand reject that. And secondly, I would disagree with the idea that there is a separate covenant of works that's different from the covenant of grace. There is only one covenant that always includes works and grace at all points in history. And definitely Christ fulfills that, but he doesn't fulfill that because he merits some status by keeping 613 commandments of Jewish law. He merits it because he is a divine person, and from the moment of his incarnation, he deified the human nature. So the Reformed model has Christ as a Nestorian sort of Jesus that takes the punishment for us and is damned for us. And the key point where we disagree might not even be about covenant stipulations or this or that, but precisely upon the issue of Jesus being damned by the Father to take our punishment. That is an anti-Trinitarian and Nestorian position.
So a quick question then, and then I'd love to respond to the last thing you just said.
By the
You
way,
said,
before I do want to say in Genesis 17, for example, even in the Abrahamic covenant, which I don't know if you have this position, but many Reformed and many Protestant people will say, oh, the Abrahamic covenant doesn't have stipulations. Oh, actually, in Genesis 17:14, if you do not obey by being circumcised, you are cut off. That is a stipulation that includes penal sanctions. So even within the Abrahamic covenant, it is not a monergistic, one-sided covenant. Go ahead.
Yeah, even later, God specifically says, "This is why I chose Abraham, that he would lead his household after him in keeping my ways." I think that's in chapter 19 or 20. But with what you just said a second ago, saying that you reject the Reformed term is the Pactum Salutis, so that's the covenant of redemption that happens in eternity past. Could I ask you then how you interpret Psalm 2 then, where the Son says, "I will tell of the decree"?
Well, you're just assuming that means that the decree is the divine decree for unconditional election. There's nothing in Psalm 2 about the decree of unconditional election. The decree is
before putting election. Yeah,
the decree in this passage, as has always been exegeted, refers to the eternal generating of the Son. I will declare the decree. The Lord said to me, "You are my Son. Today I've begotten you." Was Jesus begotten in time or from all eternity?
I'm not talking about election yet. So
well, what is Psalm? Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
My question is: Do you affirm that verses 7 through 9, reading all of them together because the Son is saying a lot there, that this is a decree that is happening in eternity past, and the substance of the decree actually comes in with 8 and 9, I would say. Ask of me, and I will make the nations your heritage, and the ends of the earth your possession. You shall break them with a rod of iron, and dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Right.
Right. So well, I mean, as often comes up with this passage, it's a refutation of both anti-Trinitarians and people that would deny, for example, Jehovah's Witnesses, because it's an affirmation of the eternal generation of the Son and his temporal begetting. So today I've begotten you is his begetting from all eternity from the Father, and ask of me, and I will give you the nations for your inheritance. That is the reward that he's given for being the second Adam who does obey. I do agree that he obeys his Father perfectly in all instances, even in the garden, right? When he says, "Let this cup pass," he's still being obedient to the Father. And so the preaching of the gospel is the breaking of the nation's sin and the demonic powers with the rod of iron. So that is referring to the inheritance of the church within time and space, within history.
So do we then agree then that 8 and 9 does contain the plan of redemption? At least implicitly.
Yeah, but that doesn't entail unconditional election and that Jesus or limited atonement. In fact, you said earlier that Adam brought death on all of his descendants, right?
Yes.
Okay. Why are the reprobate resurrected?
Why are the reprobate resurrected?
Mm-hmm. What basis for bodily resurrection is there other than Christ?
Well, isn't it Romans 15? Or no, sorry, is it
It's 1 Corinthians 15?
15, yeah, where Paul talks about the resurrection of those to life and those to everlasting punishment.
Yeah, but what's interesting is
that
But what's interesting is that he says that all in Adam die, so death comes on everybody in Adam, right?
Yes, but I mean,
so
we have to define what we
let
mean
me
by
finish.
death there, right?
Isn't the universality the same in Christ? Life comes on all, resurrection comes on all.
Yeah, there's more than one death.
Why are the wicked or the reprobate bodily resurrected?
Because Christ says, fear him who can cast both body and soul into hell, right? So there's more than one death. There's physical
No,
death.
I'm asking
spiritual death,
on
eternal
what
death.
basis are they? I know that there is a second. I know that's not what I'm talking about. I'm asking on what basis are the reprobate resurrected bodily?
I guess I understand your question.
On what basis are the reprobate bodily resurrected, since they are not in Christ and since limited atonement is true in your view?
Can you rephrase it?
Yeah, this refutes limited atonement, right? Because the point is that all human beings are resurrected, all of them. Judas, tiny mustache man, you name it, because Christ assumes universal human nature in his singular divine hypostasis. This is a patristic teaching. And the reason this refutes unconditional election and limited atonement is that all men are resurrected only on the basis of being in Christ. So there's no such thing as people who are reprobate have no part with Christ, but they're bodily resurrected. What? Just divine fiat? That's not what Paul says.
No.
Paul says
No,
only,
no.
he says the extent of the resurrection of the nature is identical to the extent of the condemnation of the nature in Adam.
One second, love. Limited atonement does not negate that the unelect are not resurrected.
On what basis is there bodily resurrection outside of Christ? And does 1 Corinthians 15 explain anything like that?
I'd have to go there to look it up. I didn't read 1 Corinthians 15 before this.
Okay, but you know that the scope is the same, right? Is the scope of Adam's death not identical to the scope of what Christ brings upon the same human nature? In all Adam dies, so in Christ all are made alive. All.
Well, I would say, well, we'd have to also talk about Romans 5 then.
Tell me, what does Romans 5 have to do with this? Are all made alive? Are all made alive in Christ like all were made dead in Adam?
All are resurrected, but not all are made alive salvifically.
This is talking about bodily resurrection. That's the whole context of here. Those who have fallen asleep.
Yeah, right.
Let me read the passage.
You're conflating alive with Christ, which is salvific.
No, you're just that's you're interjecting the Calvinist ad hoc interpretation. In Christ, now Christ is risen from the dead. He's the first fruits of all those who have fallen asleep. For since by man came death, by man also came resurrection. For in Adam all die, so in Adam all will be made alive. That's the final resurrection of all human beings, the entire universal human existence, all of them.
Yes. But are you saying, like, if you don't clarify what you mean by all made alive, then all of a sudden you're a universalist?
No,
all are
I'm
made
not.
alive salvifically in
No,
Christ.
because this is why you have to understand the distinction between nature and person, which Calvinists don't understand because you collapse nature and person in the Trinity, just like all Latin theology does. So you don't understand that just as there's a distinction between nature and person in the Trinity, there's a distinction between nature and person and human beings. So what makes people liable to punishment is their personal mode of willing, which makes them liable for the judgment. So all of our natures are resurrected and restored, but how we experience the eschaton will be dependent upon how we either obey and recapitulate the virtues, or we experience the eschaton as ever ill being. So this is a whole other difference of eschatology between us. But I'm just pointing out that your passage, your understanding is not going to make sense of the scope here.
Well, I mean, again, you already mentioned it, that it's an interpretive issue. Like, again, you'd have to clarify.
Everybody has interpretive issues. No, I just explained that. That's how I explained it. All are made alive. It doesn't mean all people are saved. It means that all people are resurrected. All people are resurrected.
That's the same distinction that I would make, though.
No, it's not. No, it is not.
Yes, it is.
No, it
yes,
isn't.
It is. All are resurrected physically at
You
the
don't
end, but
know.
not all are
You
made
don't
alive
understand.
with Christ
You don't even understand what I'm arguing. You don't understand the nature person distinction point that I'm making, because as a Calvinist, you believe that nature and person are identical in the Trinity, and thus they're identical in human beings, which is why you believe that all men are damned in Adam, right? Because you don't believe in a distinction between nature and person. The mode of willing is what.
No. It's what it is that all offended God in Adam. And that's
You're not even, you don't even know. There's two different debates happening here. One at a level that's like over here, and then there's another debate happening here where you think that the terms mean the same thing in Calvinism when they don't.
Well, hold on. Do you disagree with that, though? That in Adam we disobeyed God, we offended God in our first Adam?
Do you disagree with that? But not original guilt. There's no such thing as original guilt.
Wait, yes, you disagree, or yes, you agree?
I'm about to boot you, man. Not an original guilt. So the meaning of the phrase that we all disobeyed in Adam is that, yes, Adam, the effects of Adam's sin come upon all of us. Does not mean that the guilt of Adam's sin. All right, we're done.
What are the effects of Adam's sin?
KD, what's up? Not doing this. We've had the same debate a million times with these Calvinists. It's just, he's going to have to go learn the Orthodox theological meanings, and it's not the same. The words mean different things in different systems. What's up? KD, what's up? KD, what's up? Cameron, what's up? I can't rehearse the entirety of Orthodox theology and terminology and meanings and eschatology, metaphysics every time a Calvinist hops on here. We've done 20 podcasts dissecting PSA and Calvinist stuff, and I'm just not rehearsing all of this. People can go watch all that stuff. I don't have the energy after doing this for 2 hours straight to rehearse the same PSA Calvinist theology debate. I've done it for 25 freaking years. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Jay?
What's on your mind?
Thanks for having me on, man. So I was raised Protestant, and basically I started having some questions. I don't want to get into all of them, but the one that's pertinent to the conversation that I want to have is my family and I started having some questions around particularly fasting. I got into a Daniel fast. I'm sure you're familiar. It's like our Lent.
I don't answer those kinds of personal. You need to take that up with your Orthodox spiritual father. That's not my domain. But thank you, Christos and Esty. What's up? If you want my takes on Calvinism and PSA, we've got 50 freaking clips and videos now on 20 different channels. So go watch all that. It's just, I'm not going to rehearse the same debate and argument for a person with the beginning stages of knowing these issues. What's up, man? I just don't have the energy for it. Maybe catch it. I did it with the guy at the beginning, right? So if you want to catch me early on in the stream and you want to have a 3-hour Calvinist debate, getting into all the nuances of Calvinist theology, not 2 hours, 3 hours into the stream. What's up, man?
Yeah, you're right, Jay. So I completely understand what you're saying, and I think, just to bring up Redeem Zuma, often the position I've seen them fall back on is just, like you said, just ad hoc. They just assert their interpretations, or they just say we don't need to justify where the canon came from. Like in one of Redeem Zuma's older videos, like 10 months ago, he just says that, we don't need the canon to be infallible. We can just reliably kind of just understand it. And then he uses like a Star Wars analogy.
I mean, I don't know what to say to that. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but I don't think Redeem Zoomer has the highest tier level of argumentation. So it's always been very simple. So
yeah, it just kind of like upsets me to see, because it's just like you said in one of your lives recently, like he's smart, but he just kind of just falls back onto really, really low tier arguments that you just can't justify, and it's just upsetting to see because he's smart.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you'll notice the same with the Roman Catholic sphere too, that basically people are just relying on a lot of really simple arguments to get lowest common denominator mass appeal. And that's the unfortunate part, is that the debates on these topics are not getting more precise. They're just becoming dumber. That's the difficult part. By the way, I'm going through here there's at least 10 videos on substitutionary atonement. This one's a classic, how Byzantine theology refutes substitutionary atonement. I mean, if this falls, Calvinism falls, right? Like, we don't have to get into all this the decree and this and that. It's not, if this stuff falls, then it's all false, right? Paul didn't write his letter to the elect. It's written to a visible church. That means that the predestined are the visible church in Ephesus. That's a problem. The reprobate are resurrected in 2 Corinthians or 1 Corinthians 15 in Christ. Well, that's a problem for Calvinism. And I know I used to be a Calvinist. So if you want a full tulip refutation, well, guess what? I got 2 podcasts on that. The errors of Calvinism. 1 hour right here. No, wait, it's not called Tulip. It's on the Clips channel. If you just type in Calvinism, Calvinism Refuted, right here, 2 hours. That's part 1. And then you can find a part 2 on it as well. Here's a 2.5 hour, Calvinism Refuted with Cotel, right here. If you already came up, like, guys, give other people a chance, man. It's so annoying. Like these Spurs just obsessively, every time I do a live stream, they're the first ones to hop on here. Let other people ask the questions, man. Bitcoin, what's up?
Hey, Jay, I had a question for you. Well, I guess a couple. I was just catechized a couple weeks back into the Orthodox Church, I guess Greek Orthodox. During the catechism, there's a few kind of things that happened that I'm trying to be like humble about it, but it kind of like perked my ears up. One of them, the kind of ceremony of the catechism where you're supposed to like spit and blow on, on Satan or whatever. Like,
you mean where you're received into the church?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So during that, like the priest said specifically, like, don't actually spit, just like make the sound. And I thought that was kind of weird because I heard you speak on like a podcast, or maybe it was your channel, about how like you were kind of like seeing your wife like spit, like literally spit. I was kind of expecting to do that.
I mean, yeah, it's a little weird, but it's not a huge deal.
My other kind of thing was during the baptism, I was already baptized Roman Catholic, so they didn't do another baptism. But the other catechumens who were baptized, it wasn't a submersion. It was like they basically kneeled over like a small tub or bucket and just had like a splash of water kind of poured on their head. I was wondering what your take is on that.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like Latin influence, and Serbs have done the same thing where they do aspersion. It's unfortunate. It's not the classic Orthodox mode, but I mean, I think God's grace makes up for whatever's lacking. So I wouldn't doubt my salvation over what's out of your control. Willie, what's up?
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Hey, yeah, sorry for spamming you. It seems that every time I join in, it just like calls in 4 times. Anyway, I'm wondering if you're familiar with David Maia.
Yeah, the person who was probably likely a Fed that has a shady past that started the Order of Nine Angles.
Yeah, and also like his interlocking with Al Qaeda, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, because there's a huge uproar of like people that are of offshoot groups of him. Do you believe that there is more like federal or any proof or any like formal links between any of those cults and groups with feds? Or
I wouldn't be surprised. I think BX, if you look at her materials, she has she's dived a lot further into that stuff than I have, but I haven't looked into individual groups, but I wouldn't be surprised. None, what's up? What's up?
Jay, how's it going?
Hey,
so isn't it true that the Reformed position traditionally on the bodily resurrection of the reprobate is that the reprobate are resurrected for the purpose of final judgment, and what they will be judged for at the final judgment is unrepentant sin. That is unrepentant sin that they had no power to repent of because they weren't called to repentance. In other words, not elect. So essentially, the reprobate are created to be damned for the purpose of being damned. Isn't that basically the traditional Reformed position?
Many Reformed hold that, yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of what the guy earlier seemed like he just didn't want to say or didn't know.
Well, there was 2 Calvinists, so I assume you mean the second guy. But I mean, yeah, that is ultimately, I think, where the position leads. But they have a lot of workarounds. Counterdocs, what's up? I'm not saying the workarounds work. I'm just saying they'll say, oh, you know, we believe in free will. It's just under the divine decree. Okay, so it's not actually free will because God is the direct cause of all actions, and that's what's actually led some Calvinists like Jonathan Edwards to be occasionalists. So they adopt the Sunni position of occasionalism. What's up, man? Counterdocs, you want to unmute?
Hey, Jake, can you hear me good?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I got a question for you. So I watched your old interview with Alexander Dugan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big Dugan fan myself. I'm wondering what do you think is going to happen, like, in your opinion, with the cultural issue in America? And if you would have had your way, what would be your realistic approach to it?
I don't understand the question.
So I think multiculturalism is wrong, and it's a big problem, like you guys addressed in that interview. I'm just wondering, where do you think that's going in America, and what would your realistic solution be to it?
I mean, I've tried to argue for Orthodox Christianity being the solution, but thank you for that. Orthodox Light. By the way, this great video by Lewis is really underrated because it's a great refutation of Calvinism, because Calvinists always want to talk about God being the direct cause of all events in terms of divine decree. And the Calvinists don't realize that their position actually just leads them to affirm Muslim views or occasionalism. And if you don't want to know what occasionalism is, enjoy watching this video because it's pretty funny. Orthodox Light, what's up? I'm mute.
What's up, Jay?
Hey.
How you doing?
Doing great. What's up?
All right, so I'm about to be received into the church on theophany, and it's been a really long catechism, about like 4.5 years.
Wow.
I originally converted during COVID. I noticed a lot of things were wrong, but I didn't really want to address them in myself totally, hence why I'm here 4.5 years. So my uncle, he's surprisingly like a really intelligent Pentecostal, which sounds like almost an oxymoron, but he's really well read and he's really into like Aquinas and a lot of
that is weird. I've only heard of that one time ever.
Yeah, he tries to be really ecumenical and really ironic. You know, he very emphasizes the invisible church position. And we got into this sort of discussion about the ecumenical councils and different things with that. And he is sort of the opinion that pretty much everyone has to privately interpret. So there's no difference between any of the various different denominations. And he was saying that the ecumenical councils to him are really just private interpretation. And what I really wanted to ask you, you know, him and I, we kind of have our spats. We go back and forth on these things. But like, if someone is going to use that line of argumentation,
right? So this is two different issues. This is confusing individual existential certitude with normative authority, and we've covered this many times. It's a common mistake that people make, and it's really just a difference between, of course, everybody's going to be reading the documents, reading the councils, reading the church fathers, etc. And at the end of the day, everybody, whether you're Roman Catholic, Protestant, or Orthodox, is going to have to admit that it's the Holy Spirit at the end of the day that guides us to know with certitude. That's a separate question from whether, that's a different question from whether Jesus established within history a body of people to have the authority to bind people's consciences. So the terminology of private interpretation, that comes out of the Reformation, and the Reformers are arguing that I have the right to privately interpret the scriptures and no man can bind my conscience. So you see, that's in the domain of normative authority. In other words, no pope, no council can tell me that I'm excommunicated if I come to the decision that Jesus is not divine and that he is, you know, I'm an Arian. Nobody can excommunicate me.
Yeah.
So that's two different issues. One is existential certitude. The other one is normative authority. So he needs to understand that distinction, because on the one hand, everybody's in the same boat with individual certitude, but not everybody's in the same boat with the question of, did Jesus establish a body of people within history?
Okay. And with this sort of topic, and you were kind of talking about it with one of the Reformed guys with covenant theology, But with my uncle and with in general the Protestant upbringing I sort of had, which was pretty lukewarm in general. But I think one serious problem was their understanding of like Christ fulfilling the law. Like we really seem to have a theology about it where it's like really emphasizing like the telos of the law, like what the law was always meant to be.
Sure.
Well, theirs seems like really disjointed, and like my uncle, he subscribes to, I think this is from Aquinas, I don't think this is scriptural at all, the like civil, moral, ceremonial, he believes like the ceremonial and civil ended, but the moral like continues, and that's what we Christians are now under. But that doesn't really seem to fit with the like fulfillment of the law. Is there like other proof texts you can think of that sort of support that, like the telos view? I mean, I don't know. He'd probably say he agrees with that, but I don't think it's consistent.
Well, I think a lot of these issues about law, like Jewish law specifics, get answered not just in the New Testament with, Acts 15 and Paul's letters, but also in the first, second, and third century of the church. So you also have, councils that deal with issues. You have the Quarto-Deciminarian controversy in 180, et cetera. So there's a time period where there may not be some specific proof text that's going to convince your granddad or whatever, but can you give an example of a specific, like what's a thing that he thinks is a,
Well, okay, yeah. So I brought up like the apostles literally had icons around them in the like when they're still worshiping in Acts, like there is icons in the temple. They didn't see that they should, destroy the temple.
Yeah,
or
tear it
take
all
down.
down. That's a great point. Yeah.
Exactly. So and then he's like, oh, well, we're not, and I explain how God, required the icons in the Old Testament temple, and he's like, oh, well, we're not under the law anymore, like this doesn't matter. And he feels the same about vestments and incense, and I don't know how he thinks about the book of Revelation with that, but like, with liturgical worship, he seems to process the fulfilling of the law as it allows whatever Pentecostal jibber jabber, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean,
and it feels like at this point, with the private interpretation, when he said that thing, I was like, it kind of feels just like you don't want to agree. Like that seemed like so ad hoc to me.
probably, yeah.
And your content, you mention a lot, like, many of these people, their hearts are just hard. You can't do anything about it, and that sucks.
Well, also, you're never gonna convince your granddad, dude. You're not. I mean, if you can't convince a dad, you're sure as heck not gonna convince a granddad. So I would just love him and pray for him and be nice to him, because you're not going to argue a 80-year-old Pentecostal out of his positions. It's just, but I mean, yeah, it does sound like he's an intelligent, unique case. This is from Blair's book, The Source of Islam. Islam derives several key doctrines and Quranic passages from the Talmud. Uniting with Islam that is therefore by default Talmudic, and this is what people like Tucker and other people should understand, is that it's not like, oh, Islam's actually closer to Christianity than Judaism. No, they're both Antichrist. First John says, if you don't believe Jesus is the Son of God, you are of the spirit of Antichrist. It doesn't matter if you call him a prophet. Arius called him a prophet. Arius called him a god. Okay, well, that doesn't mean Arianism is therefore also Christianity or cool. It's just such a silly, like, it's a silly low information position. And there was a girl in the replies today arguing this. I tried to get her to come on here and debate, but she wouldn't do it. Islam is right next to Christianity. They believe that Jesus is a prophet. So, like, you can believe Jesus is a prophet and be Antichrist. I mean, that's 1 John says that. So much indeed was Muhammad indebted to the Jews for a great portion of his teachings on this and other subjects that the Quran has been described as a compendium of Talmudic Judaism. And if you read the Quran extensively, you'll begin to notice that. It's like, this is all just weird, arbitrary. It's copy and paste Judaism, but for no reason. In other words, as that guy was just talking about with his granddad, like the laws, all of these ceremonial and dietary commands, they don't even have any purpose just because Allah says so, literally. So it's a great religion for 80 IQ people, but like, what's the purpose of not eating the pork and this and that? Because Allah says so. Okay, did Allah create the pigs? Yes, and Jesus will come back and destroy all the pigs. Literally, that's what they believe. I mean, it's just stupid. So, it's from Blair's book, Sources of Islam. And then when you tell that to Muslims, they'll just say, he's been discredited. I mean, when I read the Quran, it looks like a lot of Talmudic stuff. So how is that discredited? Levgen, what's up?
Hello.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Jay? I guess just add a little bit more on a topic of libertarianism and related to actually persecution of the church. Now, as we all saw the recent gathering of Orthodox clergy at Washington. Now, I'm from Ukraine, so I wanted to kind of add that the more you kind of use these liberal terms like human rights and religious freedoms, the more you kind of like sort of begin play by their rules.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a wounded, bloody animal for the predator. You know what I mean? So like they kind of feel this kind of weakness, and I've seen like a lot of Orthodox apologists, especially on X, saying that being accused like in Russian agents and stuff, and being responded like, oh, but the persecution is from Russian side as well. So this kind of rhetoric, like Ukrainian Orthodox Church, like years before even the conflict broke out, it was this always tendency, like the hierarchs always wanted to kind of show, oh, look, we're not with them, we're not with Russians, we are separate, we're not like with the Moscow. And this exactly like that thing, because that led to them being even more vicious. Because see, like it's up to them to decide who gets the human rights, who gets the religious freedoms. After all, this is like it seems to be so like naive, like you to appeal to these. I mean, I understand it's all politics and stuff, and this is like the domain of this, like those terms, right? I guess you can't go without it, but at the same time, you like once you step on that territory.
Yeah, no, it's a fair critique. I like, using a lot of this, classical liberal terminology of human rights and all that, and humanitarian, that is a fair critique. Are we actually playing into their game by using their terminology? It's a fair critique, fair question. I'm not sure. Maybe we should just try to move away from using that terminology. Maybe you're right. I'll have to think about that. M Ham, what's up? Thank you for that. It's a good point.
Can you hear me?
Hey.
Hey, man. So I just recently started listening to you, and I think you were on Ruslan's show maybe, and I overheard you say that Bonson was one of your heroes. Do I have that right?
Yeah, when I was growing up, I listened when I was ages 19, 20, 21. I listened to Bonson incessantly. I learned to debate from Dr. Bonson. I went to Bonson Seminary. I took Bonson courses. So I lived, ate, slept, and breathed Greg Bonson for several years.
Okay, so
I've read most of it. I've read most of his books too. Go ahead.
Well, so like I mean, I'm not as into him and as well read as you are. But like I listen to the Gordon Stein debate once a year, but I was listening to or watching a clip of yours the other day.
I mean, I'm talking about that's when I was like 20. You're talking about when I'm like 21, 22. I mean, I haven't really. I mean, we did a Bonson debate review maybe 4 or 5 years ago. So I'm not like I don't wake up every day and nowadays and read Bonson. But go ahead.
Well, and maybe I don't know if I picked up accurately or not, but you were arguing with a Protestant about the canon in a clip I was watching the other day, and you kept hammering, by what authority do you determine what the canon is?
Right.
Is that like a carryover from Bonson's influence, do you think?
I mean, not necessarily, because I mean, I mean, Bonson debated Jerry Matitix on that, and I think Matitix won that debate on that question.
Okay, I guess so. My bigger question, then, I guess, and I'll just leave you with this one, is how has your apologetic and maybe your philosophy shifted or moved over the last 20 or some years from being like Reformed, Bonson, presuppositional to being Orthodox, and how you argue into apologetics now?
Well, I mean, that's a very, dense question, and I would say if you really want to get into that, I'm not trying to dismiss the question. It's just not an easy one to answer with, 3 hours in the live stream. But if you come over here to this channel called Patristic Faith, me and Father Deacon and Dr. Ananias, who also, grew up being influenced by Bonson and Van Til. If you go to his channel right here, Patristic Faith, and if you come down here to playlist, let's see where playlist right here, and there is a whole playlist right here called Tag, and I think this playlist has pretty much all of me and FDA's podcasts that we've done. So here's 1, 2. Here's one on Bonson. I mean, there should be quite a few. Here's another one, critiquing classical apologetics, Bonsenstein debate. So I think this would be the playlist for you, the Tag playlist at Patristic Faith, because there's probably 10 podcasts that get into the specifics of that question. Joseph, what's up?
How's it going, Jay?
Hey, what's on your mind?
Just a couple questions. I was going through an argument, just thinking about how to go about it. Because when you always mention Ephesians 4 when you're debating Protestants, and I think it's a good proof text against them. One body, one spirit. Yeah. So in that meaning, like if they have any doctrinal differences from other Protestants, doesn't that mean they can't do the invisible church because they believe in a different Lord? Because that Lord says, oh, dispensationalism is true, and the other one, like, no, amillennialism is true, or Calvinism is true, Lutheranism is true.
Yeah, this was an argument that Father Moses made the other day, where it's like, at what point do you determine that it's a different God based on God's different commandments, right? So, for example, if the Calvinist God creates infants to damn them for his glory, how is that the same God as the God who doesn't do that?
Exactly, yeah.
So, and when they try to say what the lowest common denominator is, it's just arbitrary. Oh, well, we all believe in Jesus. Okay, well, does that count? Do Mormons count? No, they don't count because they don't believe in the right Jesus. Oh, so now it does matter what the right Jesus is. I think you're spot on. Great point. And I think, invisible church is just kind of really silly if you, read the New Testament. Tengu, what's up? I mean, did Jesus have an invisible body? Come on. It's Gnostic. Tengu, unmute.
Vitamins and minerals, they come to me through a tube.
Exactly. This man knows music. I like it when we get a man that knows music on.
I just want to say I really appreciate that a highly regarded music artist such as yourself has taken the time aside to, do apologetics and debates for the Christian. I'm just joking. In all seriousness, though, I grew up Protestant and just had some questions on the Orthodox view on baptism, specifically infant baptism.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like a doctrine that the Orthodox believe in?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, can you kind of explain the rationale? It's not a hill that I die on, but it does seem weird to me.
Yeah, in every covenant, God's always included the children of his people. So, if you go to the Noahic covenant, Noah's children come out of the ark. If you look at Abraham, all the household is circumcised, so the entire household participates in the Abrahamic covenant. In the book of Acts, we have, in many cases, entire households being baptized, and households back in those times had quite a few people amongst them. So household baptisms in the book of Acts also would include children. Jesus says, do not forbid the infants to come unto me. And so it's a universal patristic practice to baptize infants and I really don't think it even gets, it's actually pretty late when it's questioned. There could be some heterodox group that I don't remember off the top of my head that questions infant baptism in the first few centuries, but I think really it's pretty late before somebody first even begins to question it, which suggests that it was an apostolic practice.
Yeah, because again, like for me, I grew up Protestant, and so like the focus or like idea, I guess, kind of was that it was part of repentance, which would kind of have to deal with, you know, each person has to actually repent of their sins. And
Right. Well,
baptism would be
for adults that would be the presupposition, and that's what we see in the Book of Acts, so that they repent before they're baptized. But again, why would we have the rest of? I got some coffee in my mouth. Why would that be the case for infants when, for example, in the Abrahamic covenant, it's commanded for the infants, right? So infants are to be circumcised, and then if you read Colossians 1 and 2, Paul says that. Colossians 2 and 3, Paul says that baptism is the fulfillment of what circumcision was. So if we have the grace being expanded to ever greater numbers of people, why in a covenant that had less grace, so to speak, in terms of scope, if the Mosaic covenant included children and Jesus comes to bring more grace to the Gentiles, why would we exclude and narrow the scope in the time of grace? It only makes sense that it would continue to be expanded, not just to infants, but also now to women, because women obviously couldn't be circumcised. So the logic of the grace scope of the new covenant, I think, also suggests that.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. One last thing really quick.
Sure.
Are we getting the Sam Shamoon manifesting on the dance floor song?
Yes, it's supposed to be here tonight. So let me check my DMs and see what Ozzy said. He says, I will finish the Sam Shamoon video tonight or tomorrow at the latest. So Ozzy, hurry up.
It's a Christmas miracle.
It's a Christmas miracle. People are already requesting it. I'm already doing muta with many moms on the dance floor to try to produce a son of the devil, to do muta with the Shia on the dance floor. Sam is based. Are you serious? You guys must be joking. I have to say though, shout out to Slowboy Whiteboard, because she sent this Milk Dollar Pure, another. I mean, we don't just have Dr. Evo out here laying down hits. We got another friend, another hot player coming up in the game, Milk Dollar Pure, who has remixed yet another. I mean, dude, cringecore hits are dropping on the daily, and I can't even keep up with all the cringecore hits. Listen to this.
And traits of the cult guru. They do not typically like you.
Dude made a
doing well.
booger whistle song, and it's hype.
They are persecuting me. They do not have spiritual eyes to see. Therefore, they must take down what they do not understand. That's that booger whistle, baby. They're energy vampires.
Oh, I gotta upload this to my
That's that
channel.
booger whistle, baby. I got a booger whistle flute. They're energy vampires. That's that booger whistle, baby. Oftentimes, the communal living that the guru demands doesn't match up to the guru who's driving around.
Somebody said, "What's your cast?" A leg cast. Why? Because I got a pimp walk. I got a broken leg. That's my cast. Oh, you're talking about a cast, like a cast system. Oh, shit. My bad. Anyway, y'all like the booger whistle song? Shout out to Sod Guru. Shout out to Osho, my favorite gurus. Get that booger whistle going.
In a freaking Rolls Royce. What? How many swamis got a dang Rolls Royce? What? I had vision last night. The ascended masters came down to me. They says, Swami, where to get Rolls Royce? That's that booger whistle, baby. They're energy vampires. That's that booger whistle, baby.
I'm gonna dedicate this one to Vivek Ramaswamy, baby.
I got
Shout
a
out to
booger
M. Night
whistle
Shyamalan
flute.
Ding Dong. Shout out to
They're
Vivek
energy
Ramaswamy.
vampires. That's that booger whistle, baby.
esoteric.
How many Rolls Royces you got? Get over there in that communal living. By the way, get out of my Rolls Royce.
Guru's gone
I
wild.
got 14 Rolls Royces. And by Monday, he would have 15. That's that booger whistle, baby. They're energy vampires. All right, that's that booger whistle,
Like
baby.
this, I mean, the cringe cores are getting crazy. Shout out to Milk Dollar Pure, whoever that is. The him and Dr. Evo, man. If we got Milk Dollar Pure together with Dr. Evo to collab, and then we get Ozzy to make videos, bro. You better look. All I'm gonna say is, if you piss me off, you're gonna have a nice little cringe core drop in. That's all I'm gonna say. Paul Allen's business card, $5. I'd love to see you and Tristana review Nick Cage movie Snake Eyes. Dude, I called Tristan the other day and I was like, why have you retired from the internet? I realized that I dropped so many fly hits when we was having a little rap battle. Y'all remember that? And Tristan just basically exited the game. Tristan literally been real quiet since the cringe core dropped. And I feel kind of bad now because I feel like I blasted him out of the internet sphere. He basically retired. So I have to try to coax Tristan into coming back to the internet. So he's like, I'm not an e-diva. And I'm like, I mean, I'm sorry I destroyed you being so much of an e-diva. But look, let me help coach you into being a little bit of an e-diva. So we're going to try to get Tristan to come back. I actually like this idea quite a bit. I do want Tristan to do Snake Eyes with me. Now, everybody says there's a connection between this and Charlie Kirkland. I mean, Kirkland, that's what his super chat calling it that. I mean, I don't know if I believe that, but I do think that that's a Brian De Palma movie. Yeah, and that's a Brian De Palma movie that we've not analyzed. So I do like about half of Brian De Palma's movies. Andronikov, $5. What would be a good response to Protestants saying that it's all about loving Jesus? It's very popular amongst Protestants. Okay, well, what Jesus, right? I mean, there's got to be some delineators that mark off the fake Jesus from the true Jesus, right? Jehovah's Witness Jesus, Mormon Jesus, Urantia. Remember the debate with the Urantia dude like 6 years ago? I mean, it's got to be more specific than just quote loving Jesus, because although you might have good, sincere motives, it's also got to be defined as to the right Jesus. The Oracle, $5. People who believe in evolution either believe that one, reproductive organs just spontaneously evolve out of nowhere, or two, what came before the useless nubs and holes that randomly evolved. Yeah, this is my joke. I've been making this joke for like 5 years, right? Nubs. And then that became a whole joke in Jamie's chat, and people started doing nub wave music. Yes, this is my joke. In fact, I think if I ever do stand up, I think I have a section on nub jokes. So it's if anybody steals that, that's my joke. Ain't no stand ups. You're not allowed to use nub jokes. That's from me. Aracoda, $5. Assassin's Creed is a good one. I played one of the Assassin's Creed and it was okay. I think I played the one that was the most popular, maybe like 2014, 2012. It's kind of got boring to me. It was fun for a little bit, and then it got boring. But I'll tell y'all what I did pick up. I tested out, let's see, what's the name of that one? Is it Tormented Souls? Yes, I got Tormented Souls, which is basically Resident Evil. I mean, Tormented Souls 2, which is, I guess, an old game that they remade. I'm having fun with it. It could easily be a game that we play tonight, or just to have some fun with. It's literally very much Resident Evil, like old, Resident Evil like 1 basically. But this one could be fun. I do like survival horror games. I like those a lot. Somebody said play Resident Evil 4. We already did that. So we tried doing a game stream maybe a year ago, and I did Silent Hill and I did Resident Evil 4, and like basically people on this channel don't care about that. So, but we try to make it a situation where it's fun and I answer your questions. You know what I mean? So I'm open to suggestions if you guys want me to play something different. Like if you go to my channel, you'll see. I mean, doing Silent Hill was fun. Like we did, I think about 4 hours of Silent Hill, and we did Resident Evil. It was fun. So here's we did 5 hours of Silent Hill right here. No, dang, we did more than that. We did 3, 4, 5, 7 hours. 7 hours of Silent Hill. Playing horror games at 3 a.m. Yeah, that's fun. Resident Evil. I like all the Resident Evils. I grew up, I've always played every Resident Evil. I mean, I bought game systems just to play Resident Evil. I mean, Dead Space is fun. I played, beat the first Dead Space when it came out. Maybe the new one could work. Play Solitaire. Minesweeper. I'm going to live stream playing Minesweeper. Does that sound fun? Upgraded stream setup. What do you mean? Oh, you mean for gaming? Like do a live stream, but have camera and not just the game? I think if more people would watch the game streams, maybe, but the problem is that when it's just like when I do movie streams, literature streams, or game streams, it only ends up being like 300 people. So there's not really much motivation to do that. I mean, they still made super chats, you know, so it still works. It's just, it doesn't get very many people, and it only gets like 5,000, 7,000, 10,000 views. So it's really just kind of a chill, fun stream. Chazé Haggard. We have Chazé Haggard. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Chazé Haggard.
No, it's Chase Haggard.
Oh, excuse me.
You know, I was just going to suggest a game for you. I think it's kind of right up your alley. It's called Genshin Impact, and I think you would love it. I think the audience would love it.
Is there a RuPaul game that I could play? RuPaul's Drag Race?
It's a Mitt Romney simulator.
Mormon Space Wife Simulator. Okay. Are you being serious or are you joking?
No, I'm serious.
What's
Genshin
the game?
Impact.
Genshin
Impact. I think you'd love it. But I got to head out. I'll have a good one.
Are you being serious or you're joking? This is some kind of like weird anime creeper thing or no?
Dude, why are you so suspicious
All right,
of everyone?
Chase is trolling me, dude. I can't. Everything is a troll, man. You've hurt my feelings already. No wonder you and your brother just don't work on the internet. Cody, what's up? I just want to play RuPaul Drag Race Simulator. That sounds fun. What's up?
Hey, Jay. Yeah, I actually had two things that I wanted to mention. One that I wanted to mention and a question I wanted to ask. So you had said earlier, like the Protestant idea of, love Jesus, which Jesus. I grew up in a Baptist background at school and then a Pentecostal background at home, which was kind of a weird dual conflicting beliefs type system there. And, also I think a big problem with the Protestants is the definition of love itself that they use is skewed. That's just one thing I wanted to mention is like the definition of love is an important thing that they don't ever consider.
Yeah, good point.
But on the second thing is I am technically still an inquirer in Orthodoxy and have been for a year now. The biggest hurdle that I have to climb over is I am not a consistent person. I don't have consistency in the way that I need to attend everything that I should be attending. And so I have a wife and children and everything, and everything, it always just tends to things get in the way of practicing. And, there's plenty of excuses I could make, but really it's just inconsistency on my part. In situations like that, would you say that it would be better to wait to become catechumen? Or do you think that I'm fully convinced of the actual doctrine, and that this is the true church. But I just don't know that I would be. I don't feel I live up to the standard.
Well,
that
none
I
of us
could.
do, so that's why you got to start working on it. So, I mean, everybody, you're gonna have the same struggle as everybody else. So, I would say, yeah, just keep working towards it. But yeah, I understand. And you know, we all have temptations to sloth, temptations to laziness, to don't expect, oh, I got to become perfect, no, go ahead, and you need the sacraments, you need the grace of the church to help you get over those things. What's up, man?
What's up, Jay? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I have like a couple questions. First one being, do you think that Saint Dionysius the Areopagite's corpus is authentic?
I think that probably the majority of it is, yeah. I lean towards that.
Yeah, because that's just proving orthodoxy is true. That would just be a game changer for like Catholicism and Protestantism.
Yeah. I mean, there's, Catholics have a different quote reading. So there's like a Thomistic reading of Dionysius, and there's an Orthodox quote reading of Dionysius. But yeah, I tend to think it's real.
Yeah, and then my next question would be, it's such a bad question, and like Dr. Bo Branson and stuff answer this and stuff like that, but I want to ask you, it's such a bad Dawa script question, and it's basically, I bet you've heard it a million times. It's like, if God has one mind and the Father knows he's the Father, but he doesn't know he's not the Son, and then the Son knows he's the Son but doesn't know he's the Father, wouldn't that be different minds? Like, that's their argument,
Well, the thing is that having one mind doesn't mean that they all have the same mode of consciousness. So that's the difference between what's proper to God by nature and then the way that it exists, which is the mode. So the mode that the mind exists is in the mode of the persons that have that one mind. So, for example, Jesus has omniscience, but he has omniscience in the mode of being the omniscient Son. The Father has omniscience, but he has omniscience in the mode of being the Father. So there's not really any problem when you understand the difference between nature and mode of nature, because it's person. And since Muslims don't have a nature person distinction, they don't really think of Allah that way. They don't really understand the difference between, and by the way, Latin theologians and theology also doesn't have a distinction consistently between nature, person, will, and mode. And even the Orientals, I think this is another root problem in the Orientals, is that they confuse person, nature, and mode. And so they think because persons will to do things, that will must be a property of person and not of nature. And hence they say that since Jesus is one person, he must have one will or something like that. But two wills, two natures, two energies, etc., in the mode of the person that has the natural properties. And that's why willing can be a property of nature, but occur in a mode of the person willing. So the same thing applies to how the knowledge is had within the Trinity. And so in that sense, there's not a problem then of, because the Father knows that the Son is the Son, but it doesn't mean that he lacks knowledge because he's not the Son, because knowledge isn't a property of person, it's a property of nature. Latin became a member. Assassin's Creed would be a good game. Aracoda, maybe. Exopstep, $5 for the boys. $5, thank you, man. Luigi, $10. Play Kenshi and form the Bananantine Empire. So that must be, he's doubling up there with teaming up against me with Chase or Chasse Haggard. Blink, $10. What do you recommend to show? Oh, we did that one already. Rui, $10. Thank you so much. Sincere Hypocrite. I've been watching the Fearless Truth debate against Muslims, and I never realized that they're super ignorant of the Old Testament. No, I've been saying this, right? After all my Muslim debates, I realized that they don't know anything about what's actually in the Old Testament. You would think that if you thought your religion was the same as the prophets of the Torah, you would think they would actually go read the Old Testament, but they don't. They have no idea what, like, so you start asking them about, well, what do you think about the temple and all these Leviticals? They don't know what you're talking about. The what? What's that? Like, they have no idea what's in, Leviticus or Numbers or Deuteronomy. So yeah, I mean, it's super easy when you really get into it to debate Muslims, because they, for many, many years, were on the offensive, and they would only debate low tier evangelicals. And then when you actually get them on the defensive and get aggressive with them, they fold. They've all folded. And they're basically, Dawa online is dead, except for whoever this dude is that keeps calling out Nick, Fearless Truth. Shout out to Nick. And he just demolishes them, right? Because the whole thing relies on, it's just, dude, it's such a scam. It's just so crazy how silly it is. Jewish Skeptic, $5. The first 3 Assassins are good. They're very esoteric. That's true. In fact, I know the movie is not very good, but I actually included an esoteric analysis of the of the movie with Michael Fassbender. I put that in Esoteric Hollywood 3, I think. Because even though the movie bombed, it had all kinds of, I know about the, like, genetic memories and DNA and all that. That's all in there, yep. UN Brotherhood says that you have a Borgia Pope say the nice, wait, UN Brotherhood. You have a Borgia Pope saying the Nicene Creed, say he doesn't believe in God. Are you saying that's in Assassin's Creed? Or are you saying that's what the UN Pope, the Borgia Popes, are saying? That's pretty wild. If that's in the game, that's pretty crazy. I remember I put like 20 hours into one of the Assassin's Creeds, and I was just sort of like wandering around, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of getting boring. I'm tired of talking to NPC characters and trying to find, I don't know what I was looking for, sand daggers. Like, I don't know. I just eventually got boring, but also, like, I don't really like, it's a tough call, you know what I mean? Because games that have open worlds that require 5,000 hours of playtime, I feel like it's not respecting my time. You know what I mean? I don't have time for that. Like, I would like to play the new Zelda, but I'm not investing 500 hours solving Zelda puzzles. Okay. I want Silent Hill F 12-hour gameplay and I beat the game, right? That's what I like, because my time is valuable, and I am not going to live in some gamer gooner world. It's not my lifestyle, dog. I am aware, though, of the lore, and I'm aware of the lore in Silent Hill, because the more that I played Silent Hill, the more that I have paid attention and watched people's analyses. There's a lot more lore and esoterica in Silent Hill than I thought, also, including a lot of Kabbalistic stuff, particularly in Silent Hill 2 Remake. I think that it's, because, there's different Kabbalahs. There's like Jewish Kabbalah, there's Crowley Kabbalah, there's pagan, satanic versions of Kabbalah. There's a million different Kabbalahs, right? Because Kabbalah itself is actually just borrowed from Neoplatonism in many ways. Not all of it, but a big part of it. So I thought Evil Within 2 was really good. It's a lot of crazy MK Ultra stuff in Evil Within 2. The thing is, I have played plenty of 100-hour role-playing games, and as you get older, it's just your time is too valuable you can't invest 100 hours in Final Fantasy. I will play Final Fantasy Remake Part 2, though, or Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2. And the reason I want to play that is because I'm mad, because I played Final Fantasy 7 Remake and I did the exact same mistake as Final Fantasy 14, where I got too far too quick and I couldn't go back. And it really pissed me off, because I was really enjoying Final Fantasy 7 Remake, and I didn't realize I was getting to the boss that soon. And I didn't have an early enough, like a soon enough save. So basically, I got to the boss in 14 and 7 too soon, and I'm like, I'm not playing this freaking game all over again. Screw it. And this is a recurring problem. It happened to me on freaking Indiana Jones too. And it's like, why? How am I solving the game so quick? And I can't beat the bosses because I get to the bosses with like, you know, basic bitch level fighting skills. And it's pissing me off. This is like 3 games in a row this has happened now. Once you rebirth, in what game, Chase? I don't know what game you're talking about. Lockstep says, okay, I'll just use Streamlabs from now on. I mean, yeah, ultimately I would encourage everybody to use Streamlabs. Anonymous, what do you think about Kent Hovind, his resurgence? I feel like he got a bad rap. I just think a lot of it's goofy. He just comes off as goofy and kind of silly. And I just think evangelical fundamentalist stuff, even if they have good points here and there, it's just too goofy, man. Might be a net negative. I don't know. Osho's Rolls Royce. Jay, play the Halo trilogy. I played a lot of Halo in the 2000s. I just got tired of it, honestly. I don't think I could. I would much rather play Silent Hill or what ruined. Silent Hill was great. What do you mean it was ruined? Yeah, new games require 4 billion hours to grind through. I just don't have time for that. They need to make the games where there's like different versions or something, modes. Like if you want to be the dork that spends 500 hours in it, like you get a version of that. And they did that for a while. They used to have like the campaign mode, you know, so. Final Fantasy VII is Gnostic. Yep, pretty much. I mean, Final Fantasy is straight up Kabbalistic too. Sephiroth, etc. I did look up Fatal Frame. I think that was one of the ones I was looking at. What platform? When I do the game streams, I just do them on here. So I use my PS5 and I stream it to my YouTube channel. It's just too much, dude. The way Twitch is set up is just a nightmare. Jewish skeptic. I meant in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Oh, wow, that's crazy. Borgia popes are literally just denying basics. That's funny. That's actually kind of funny. I might like it now. Maybe I should play it. Rough Hands. Look up Days Gone. It's a game that you can play while you're streaming. It's a zombie game. If you like Grand Theft Auto and Silent Hill, if they had a baby. Oh, yeah, I know about Days Gone. In fact, that's on my list to get. I'm familiar with it. Expedition 33 is good. Yeah, I wrote that one down. It's about 20 hours. Yeah, I thought about that one too. Would y'all watch if I did Tormented Souls? Would y'all want to watch that? Fallout has eugenics and elites. Yep, I'm aware of that. It's not good. What's not good? Thank you guys for calling in. I don't have any more energy for this. Appreciate you guys on the live stream there. Guys, remember we have the show sponsor, which is choq.com, choq.com, the best in supplementation on the internet. I might just try out I mean, nobody ever comes, but if I do a game stream tonight, it's going to be like 20 people in there. So I don't know if it's worth it or not. I looked up Stalker. I would watch it if it's Expedition 33. Nobody cares about Tormented Souls. It's kind of fun so far. I mean, I played like the first hour of it just to test it out. Over too quickly, dude. We've been going for 3 hours. What are you talking about? I mean, Resident Evil 7, I didn't do Resident Evil. I've beaten Resident Evil, all of them, but I've beaten 7 twice. That could be fun. Is that Biohazard? Yeah. Resident Evil 7 is a lot of fun. I've been thinking about playing Cyberpunk 2077. That's possible too. We want you to talk for at least 5 hours. Alan Wake. Oh, another one. So I was into Alan Wake too. And once again, I got to a point where I could not go back, and I was too weak to go on. I was immediately getting killed. It was like stuck in a just, this is a problem I keep having. But I got about half of the way through Alan Wake. I was enjoying it. I tried playing Deus Ex, and it made me sick. Resident Evil 1 was pretty difficult. Also, I'm also stuck in a place where I get killed every time as soon as I turn it on. So it's like this is my video game curse. So it's like 5 games now. It's not a skill issue because I just beat Silent Hill F with no problems at all. Oh, it's called being soft locked. Interesting. I didn't know it had a term. Yeah, I got soft locked into like 5 games actually. Oh, I didn't even know there was references to Orthodoxy and Assassin's Creed. That's what Twisted Metal 2 was a classic. We used to play that just endlessly. We'd play the versus match. That was a blast, man. Nobody can beat me, by the way, on Mario Kart. So anybody who thinks they can beat me on Mario Kart, we need to put some money up for people who think they can beat me on Mario Kart. But I think Chase has got a good idea here. I mean, maybe Resident Evil 7. Because the thing about playing these kinds of games is that it's easy to riff. So it can be very easily comedic and fun. You could play Pokemon, Ruiz says, but Andrew already destroyed Pikachu. Exactly. Pikachu is cooked, dude. Andrew cooked Pikachu. So, yeah, somebody was saying there's a way you can do Mario Kart. Yeah, I played every Resident Evil. I mean, I played every Resident Evil and I played every Final Fantasy. Except, and by the way, on the new Final Fantasy, I'm like 75% through with it. I don't really like the new Final Fantasy. I mean, a lot of people are split on 14. I like 14 better than 16. Is it 16? Or 15? I'm all mixed up on the numbers. Okay, not 15. 15 is that the one where you're driving around the car? I actually like this one. Yeah, I like 15. 16 was the one is that the one that's only online? I don't think I like. That's the one I haven't played. So I've played everyone but that one. This one I like and don't like. I'm split on. This is the new one, isn't it? No, what is this crap? Yeah, dude, there is way too much cinema crap, dude. Like every time you're getting into the game, it switches to some freaking gay cinema scene. It's like half of the freaking game is cinema sequences. Is that the one I'm thinking of? I think I am, right? And dude, why would they put so many stupid cinema scenes in, man? What is the newest one? That's the one I'm thinking of. Y'all got to help me out here. Now, Final Fantasy VII Part 2, I'm looking forward to. That's going to be fun. Is it 16 that's all the cinema sequences?
Before we begin, a quick note about spoilers. I'm going to do my best to keep this review spoiler. Fantasy has been shifting further and further away from its turn-based RPG roots for a long time now, and with Final Fantasy XVI, it feels like a metamorphosis that has been in the works for years.
So it's not terrible when you're playing, but then it's like every freaking 20 minutes is a cinema sequence. So I'm thinking of 16. Yeah, the Knight's Tale. This is it. 16. This is so annoying, dude. And it's actually would be an okay game if they just freaking cut out about 50% of the cinema sequences. But I mean, 7 too will be fun. I could live stream that. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, right? That one would be fun because I'm not soft locked on it.
Stronger enemies won't go down through simple button mashing. Having the tactical foresight.
But I got to pick something that you guys will come to, because if I pick some weird ass obscure game that nobody's ever heard of, nobody will come watch that. But I feel like Tormented Souls 2 is one of those, and nobody's going to come watch. All right, there's a bunch of super chats. I got to read it. So, Tronicle, Assassin's Creed is very Gnostic. Yes, correct. I'm aware of that. Look at the game's creation story. The Assassin motto is nothing is true, everything's permitted. Yeah, that's Crowleyan type stuff. Lots of game stories have weird ideologies implanted in it. Yes, yes. The problem is that how to cover these, right? Like how to get into these without spending 1,000 hours and also having a good esoteric analysis. It's just a challenge. I don't know how to do it. But Jake Needham, $3. Very often, autonomous systems assert the necessity of logic, but necessity doesn't prove sufficiency. Yeah, that's a good point. For example, food is necessary, but the sufficiency of food is in question. It remains vague. It appears to be a general particular error. Interesting. That's Cap, $1. Play SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. SpongeBob, I've always maintained actually that SpongeBob is funny. I will go to the mat to defend that SpongeBob is very comedic. And Jamie hates SpongeBob, but she never actually watched it. And I cannot convince her that SpongeBob is actually funny. And then I'll quote the SpongeBob movie, right? All the time. Goofy Goober, right? And like Jamie doesn't even know. She starts laughing. I'm like, you're laughing at SpongeBob. You don't even know. Islamic pork farmer. Who would sit around and watch somebody playing video games for hours? That's so stupid and boring. Oh, wait a minute. Exactly. Play Death Stranding. It has to be Freemasons making this with predictions. Kojima has to be a Mason with his predictions. That could be. I mean, I think no area of culture is left untouched from esoteric occult stuff. Again, I mean, Silent Hill, dude, is like straight up all kind of esoteric. So I started watching this dude's videos on Silent Hill accidentally because it popped up. Let me see if I can find it. This is it right here. And dude, some of these nerds, man, they have gone to the next level analyzing the freaking video. They put me to shame. I thought I was a nerd analyzing movies, dude. This guy did a really good Silent Hill breakdown. Now, he doesn't know esoteric stuff, right? So I could bring some of the esoteric analysis that none of these dudes know about. But he had a really interesting thesis that, you know, Silent Hill 2 is basically just James being stuck in a hell loop. I thought that was a pretty good analysis because I remember when I played the game and I was like, what? I collect all these photos. What's the purpose of all these photos? Well, it turns out the photos spell out that, you know, you've been here for 20 years. So, yeah, the story then is that he got rid of his wife who was sick. And the neat part is that it's because of this drug that the town has that she was taking that she started going crazy. And so that's what led him to basically get sick of her. And then he smothered her with a pillow. And so he's suppressed that memory. And so he's stuck in Hell World Silent Hill, suppressing the memory of getting rid of her. But she was on the drug, the white Arcadia or whatever it's called, that the cult used in the first Silent Hill to entrap and traffic people who were tourists. But what he didn't mention was that when you're in the dungeon, like the dungeon level, the prison dungeon level, there are 4 Kabbalistic talismans, and it's literally like explicit Hebrew text. I got to get somebody who knows can read Hebrew to tell me what it says. And nobody else talked. I couldn't find anybody else that noticed this. Nobody noticed the Hebrew Kabbalistic text in the dungeon. Let's see if somebody else noticed that. Maybe somebody did. Here we go. Here's a dude. Oh, this dude noticed it 15 years ago. So I'm late to the game, bro. But this was in Silent Hill 1. Or no, the original part 2. Jewish skeptic, what's that say? You're in the audience. You could tell us. What does that say? Okay, no, but this is not what I'm talking about. So he found another clue in the old one, in the bathroom. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about, though. There's 4 Toluca prison, that's it. No, nobody else has noticed it. Look at that. Yeah, here we go. It's also, it's like the 4 Gospels and 4 cherubim, right? Let's see if this shows it. This is it. This is when you're in the prison here. They didn't even notice it. So it's when you're in the Toluca prison. So let's try that. Watch that. Watch this. It's the, what do you call them? Talismans? I don't even know what we call these things. It's not the lights. It's not the swords. It's the insignias on the doorways. Let's see. I bet some dork on Reddit noticed it. Let's see. Because some nerd actually decoded the frickin', yeah, here we go. Look at this. The Hebrew writings on the Toluca prison door in Silent Hill 2 are Old Testament verses acting as symbolic clues for the areas. The boars is we hide in a lie from Isaiah 28. Oh, that's weird. The oxes is I will cut off the horns of the wicked from Psalm 75. Each phrase is linked with a specific, okay, it's not the 4 Gospels. It's a boar, an ox, a serpent, and a dove. These are the levels of the prison connecting to punishment, hidden truths, and decay in regards to James's journey. The eyeless boar. Anyway, isn't that crazy? Yeah, see that? Okay, so people on the Steam community were debating this. Okay, so plenty of dorks have already looked at this. Wonder what does it say here in the original Silent Hill? It's mostly gibberish, but one of them says the Torah of something. Konami doesn't seem to have Hebrew-speaking people. We have a mini Hebrew. If everybody is a Konami, speak a Hebrew. Baal? Oh, is it a reference to a Canaanite deity? Well, in the first Silent Hill, the cult worships Samael. So it probably does reference it says your Torah. I'm not watching a 3-hour video. Oh, because the cult is run by women. Interesting. So Toratahin, which means your Torah, the female group that runs the cult. Oh, so it's the seal of Metatron right? Because there's different ways there's different endings to the first Silent Hill, right? And in one of the endings, it will summon Samael, and one of the endings, it will summon Metatron. But it's referencing the cult known as the Order, which is a female-run cult that appears multiple times in Silent Hill stories, right? Because the town was run by a female cult. Interesting. So if we do a little bit of Reddit dork searching, we can actually find. Nate says Final Fantasy 16 has a lot of Greek influences. It talks about logos, the icons, the cataclysmic words. Yes, and 16 is the one that I have been playing. By the way, use the promo code J60Life, that's JY60Life, to get 60% off all those great chalk products, including the Performance Stack or the Male Vitality Stack, or any of the products individually. That's J60Life, JY60LFE. And shout out to Rachel. Thank you so much, Rachel. We appreciate it. Love you. Merry Christmas to you guys. She's gifted 10 memberships. Merry Christmas, Jay, Jamie, and to the chat. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas to all, and to Jamie, and to Andrew, and to Chasse Hagard. That's the proper French pronunciation, Chasse Hagard. Greek Flower, Condemned Criminal Origins, and Condemned 2 Bloodshot. Those are games that have no soft logs. They're also about esoteric and occult, and they take 6 hours to beat. Man, everybody always knows, like, people know all these, like, obscure independent games. And, like, how do you guys even, where's this stuff come from? Condemned. Criminal Origins. And then Condemned 2. By the way, I'm happy to see that there is also going to be a new Tomb Raider, because I've actually enjoyed all the Tomb Raiders. Those are fun too. Oh, here come the Gematria goobers to enlighten us about the Bible code here. Oh man. All right, let's see. Let's back to I'll never get through these super chats. Let's see here. Starkey Tots $5. Yeah, I'm curious, how do we solve the problem of having multiple bishops and jurisdictions? This seems to violate Nicaea 8 canon. Well, America's a unique situation. So normally, yes, there would be only one bishop, one jurisdiction, but there's never been a situation like America. So there's not much that we can do. And the other problem is that if we just have one jurisdiction right now, it's actually for the worse, because they would all be under the State Department. So it's a necessary evil at the present. Gabriel, have you tried Evil Within? Yes, I played Evil Within, and I played Evil Within 2. Evil Within 2 was really good. It was a lot of MK Ultra, multiple personality, etc., which basically all these games are, right? I mean, video games are like Hollywood. Like they all become like MK Ultra type stuff. And especially with Silent Hill, the movie 1 and 2. Especially part 2, right? Oh my gosh, here come all the... I hope you guys are joking about the Gematria stuff. That stuff's all just crazy schizo stuff. Storm the Cat, $10. Did you play Knights of the Old Republic? Yes, I did. That was fun. Making sure I didn't miss any super chats. Guys, we got to figure out what game to play, though. Rui Texana, 10 pounds. Thank you so much. Says nothing. Welcome to the new subscribers. We got several new subscribers. Urakota, play Assassin's Creed. We'll see. We'll see. Paranoid Joe, $5. Did you try Outlast? I think I looked that one up.
Look at this fat soy dude here playing. He looks like he's having fun. He beat it in one night. No, I've not played this. We'll see what this fat dude's doing. Okay, well, if we got shit hands and toilets, I'm in. If we got fat dudes in cloaks looking in toilets, this is my kind of game. I like how every scene I go to is this fat dude making a soy face. Oh, he's famous. Dude's got 10 million subscribers. Well, I need to get in the gaming racket, dude. 10 million subscribers? What does this fat dude do? Just play games? How do you get 10 million subscribers playing games? What do you do?
What's good, chat? I ain't even.
I just be a fat dude that wears a hoodie and make a soy face? Is that all you got to do?
What?
Am I working too hard? We're working too hard. Because all you got to do is be a fat dude with a hoodie and do this. What? I've never heard of this dude. Oh, Amenti, that's one of the ones I wrote on my list. Because this one's supposed to be fun.
Danger of death. Enter at your own risk. This tomb contains confined spaces that may cause...
Man, look at this. This dude's got like 3 million views playing this stupid game. For an hour and a half. All right, this is what we got to do, y'all. I'm working way too hard talking all this nerd crap for freaking 5 hours for 20,000 views. I got to get into the game racket, dog. This is where it's at, bro. Shit. Are we going to start streaming tonight, dude? I just now realized that the internet likes gaming. Are you telling me the internet likes gaming? And this dude can't even read? Is he funny? How does he have so many views? What's he do?
Discomfort for those with claustrophobia.
So he's just a fat dude sitting here playing a game. That's it? That's all I got to do?
No. Okay. Is that all the pictures? Because we can just leave, right? Let's just go ahead and leave.
Is he funny? How does he have such a big audience? He's funny? Oh, okay. Well, I think I'm kind of funny. Could I be a funny enough gamer to get freaking 10 million subscribers? What the heck, dude?
We good? Chat, we good? Yo, it's dark. Hey, it's dark, bruh. Yo, Quasi with the fire.
You would grow exponentially if you started gaming? Well, what am I... Okay, so y'all tell me what to do, because I'm down to do that. But how do I... Is it just picking the right game, or what is it? Because we were cracking up doing, Silent Hill stuff. You know what I mean? Like, so we did Silent Hill, almost all of it. We did like 7 hours of it, right? We're having a blast over here.
Are we live?
Do y'all just need to see my beautiful face? Is that the problem? We did this without y'all seeing my beautiful face. Is that what it is?
Exactly.
And I thought these streams were pretty funny too, by the way. Mix it up. If you gain a pound, every pound you get 100,000 subs. Well, shit, I guess I got to be a fatty. I get 10 million subscribers. You got to play popular games. See, we got audience people that like the gaming. Stream on Twitch. Yeah, but I did stream on Twitch in 2017, 2018, and dude, Twitch is just a nightmare, dude. It's so much easier to stream here. You need the reaction cam. Okay. I have to figure out how to set that up, because I can't game. I have to game in there. I can't game in here. So you got to have the reaction. I guess that's what it is. Yeah. One PR. You're helping me find my way to orthodoxy after 10 years of atheism. Thank you. God bless you. Merry Christmas. Oh, amen. That's great to hear. Many years to you. Augustus, I've told you for years to play games. Do your commentary over the games. You mean commentary on the games or commentary on all this stuff?
Because that's what we did here. Look, this was fun. I was talking shit. I was making jokes. We were laughing. Ha ha ha. Look, laughing.
I'll take it.
Talking to hoes in apartments.
Silent hoe.
Silent hoe. That was a good joke. Silent hoe. Get it? That was gold, dude. That's better jokes than that fat dude. He don't even say it. He don't even say
I'm
silent
not sure
hoe.
what else I need to take a picture of right now. Am I missing something?
Okay. Let's just turn it into a gaming channel. I'm going to gain about 100 pounds tonight. And then I'll start, I don't know. What if I put his face up on my games? You get my audio commentary, but it'd be his face. Just him doing that soy face. I might actually do that. That sounds kind of funny. All right. I'm going to pick a game. If I got enough energy, we'll do a game stream tonight, just cause of y'all for Christmas. But I guess I got to figure out. Oh, he's family friendly. Well, shit. Silent hoe. That's family friendly. You just got to have a trashy family. If your family trashy, you're gonna like playing Silent hoe. I would absolutely watch a Dyer game. Well, I've been doing it. Where was y'all at? Where was you at when I did it right here? For 3 freaking hours. In part 1, we got 10,000 views. This was a hit.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We're
You got to use the face. Well, I don't have a camera in there where the PlayStation is, so I got to figure out how to do that. Maybe get a different camera or something. Oh, he's got an audience of 12-year-olds. Okay, well, yeah, 12-year-olds are not going to get my jokes. They're just going to fly over their 4-foot heads because 12-year-olds are 4 feet tall. Guys, thank you. I'm going to pick a game. We'll start with something. I was watching. It was a fun party with 250 live. Yeah, it was fun. Play Uncharted. I played all the Uncharteds. That could be fun. Y'all like Uncharted? We could do that. BioShock. BioShock trips me out, dude. I mean, I like it. I played it. I don't know if I ever beat the first one. I think I got pretty far, but something about BioShock gets me uneasy. Trips me out, dude. It's trippy, dude. It's like Breakaway Civilization, Ayn Rand, John Galt type stuff. Scam Shamoon. I ain't gonna play no Fortnite. Jamie will play some games. She's good at Mario Kart. She won't play the zombie games, though. Uncharted or Tomb Raider, that could be fun. I might do Uncharted tonight. Problem is that I gotta stick it out and beat the game. So the new 007 game does look fun. First Light, I could do that. Metroid. I never played Metroid. It was too hard. I never liked it. You guys know what? I've never played Grand Theft Auto. Never played one of them. Not for 1 second. Never. I always thought it sounded stupid. Like, does it even have a campaign, or do you just ride around wreaking havoc? You will get more subscribers if you have orbs. That's a good point. Red Dead Redemption, yeah, it's supposed to be one of the best games. I've never played it. Coffee this late? That's psycho. Well, I drink coffee all the way until bedtime, dude. Yes, there is a campaign. I've never played it. But if we do a game stream, it's just chilling and joking around. I mean, I will answer some. If you send me a super chat, I'll answer your philosophy questions and your theology questions. But usually, I just like to chill. What if we did? I don't know. I just beat all the Resident Evils pretty recently. What about Resident Evil Village? Would y'all like that, or is that not fun? Because I only beat that once. SMT games are full of esoteric stuff. I'll think about it. I mean, we expect that, yeah. But the thing is, like, the only reason people super chat on gaming streams is when they want me to ask, or they want to answer to their, theology questions or book recommendation. BioShock plot's great. Yeah, it's good. I ain't playing no damn NBA Jam. I haven't played a sports game since Double Dribble, dude. I'm serious. I remember when Double Dribble came out. I was so excited. Remember that? So when I was a kid, I was so hyped when Double Dribble came out, dude. This was like the most fun. This is the only time I ever had fun playing a sports game. Man, it was so hard to hit 3-pointers on this stupid ass game. Remember that? Ugh, I remember this now. It's all coming back. Whoa, dude. Annoying as hell, dude. Those sounds. I'm obsessed with it. Ain't nobody playing Double Dribble right now. I did play Hogwarts Legacy. I got pretty far. I'd say I got about halfway through it. But guys, Hogwarts Legacy, it's just too much of the same, dude. It could have been good. It's too much of this. It's like the same 5 enemies everywhere you go. It's just it was fun for about the first third, and then it just got old and it started sucking. It's annoying. Way too much of the same crap, dude. I'm gonna play Oregon Trail live. Hogwarts Legacy is gay. It ended up being kind of gay. I was like, all right, this is annoying. No, yeah. I mean, I remember playing Shadow Mordor. I thought it sucked. No, I didn't get soft locked in that. Evil Within was good. I like both Evil Within. Part 2 was really good. All right, I'll think about it. If I don't have energy tonight, then we'll do a game stream maybe tomorrow or something. We'll see. Guys, thank you so much. A lot of fun. I may come back tonight and do a game stream. We'll see. Otherwise, everybody have a good one.